Whoa, bro. Looking good, man. You working out? You lost weight? Wow. Great suit, by the way. You working out, man? You're looking good. That's a nice suit. What is that? What is that made of? You know, velour? What, a silk robe?
All right, what's going on, folks? Man, what a mess. What a mess indeed, man. By the way, there is talk about whether or not the documents are fake, and they are not. As far as I know, they are very much real. You know, just to note that. Now, what happened? This is kind of crazy, all right? I'm going to show you some snippets of some documentation and stuff like that. But yesterday, you had a document that is not supposed to be in public actually leaked. And I've said this a few times. If DHS or CPS documentation ends up in the public eye, that's not good for Rekieta at all. Because that means that somebody with access either made access for everyone else or they're leaking documentation. But what you had yesterday is you had a DHS document talking about kids. Well, I say a DHS document. Let me pull up the exact name of the document. Give me a second. Give me 1 minute. Let me pull this up here. 1 minute. You had a hearing. And again, okay, any hearing, like emergency hearings that are related, again, to kids. Kids are supposed to be the most protected. Now, when people listen to this, too, I want you to think about this. Not from a Rekieta perspective. Not from Nick Rekieta or his wife or anything, but from kids. You know, information about kids doesn't typically go public. And that's because, at the end of the day, kids in anything, they're innocent bystanders. They're victims, you know? And there are a lot of laws about documentation related to them not getting into the public, you know, because any conversation that deals with Nick Rekieta or his wife or anything else, and it brings up things that are happening to their kids, that stuff follows them. So this is already out there. It's been covered by freaking media outlets through Twitter. I mean, it's wild. But this is a finding of fact, conclusion of law, and order following a joint emergency protective care hearing and admit-deny hearing. Yeah, they're supposed to be protected. Exactly. Well, they're supposed to be protected by adults. But here's the thing. Once they're removed from a home, if your kids are removed from a home, and again, this has nothing to do with Nick Rekieta or his wife, this portion of it. When they're removed, the state is supposed to be the one. They're saying they weren't being, whatever is not being given to them. You know, whether it's through accusations of neglect, accusations of abuse, whatever. They remove kids from that, and they're supposed to be the ones that protect. So if documentation comes up, they're being failed yet again by more adults. Now, something stupid happened last night, by the way. I was like, why would you do this? And I'm going to play some of the live stream that came up yesterday with Rekieta. But he spoke about this, and he named somebody. Now, I want to show you, because most people didn't know what the hell was coming up with this, okay? I'm going to pull up a piece of one of these documents, and I want to show you something, okay? He called out a person by name last night in his stream, He said that they were a liar and all of this stuff. He said one, Alicia Sweep. Alicia Sweep is the County Health and Human Services person that's attached to this case. I was like, why would you do that? Like, that's not going to make things better. You know, Nick last night talked about things like he doesn't owe anybody an apology, you know, like all of us. And I agree to a point. I think, like, when you run a channel, people watch and, you know, you don't owe anybody anything, but they don't owe you anything either. I guess it goes both ways. So if you look at it that way, you know, if people don't show up anymore, then, yeah, they didn't owe you anything either. But, you know, he talked about that. And he talked about how he couldn't discuss anything, but he was pretty worked up about this stuff. And the documentation itself going public, that was one thing. But in this, there is a discussion about one of his kids. And the discussion here talks about testing. So apparently, what ends up in the public is this. Check this out. Give me 1 second. So the thing that everybody noticed here, and this is, God, if this ends up fucking standing, holy God, man, this is, I don't know how you, I don't know how you come back from this kind of stuff. You know, again, everybody gets due process, by the way. But this is terrible. After being placed out of the home, the children were subjected to hair follicle drug testing. All of the children, except for Redacted, test positive. Redacted, though, tested positive for cocaine at the level of 5,000 with a cutoff of 500. Now, I was looking up levels. Again, I don't, working in mental health, I don't work with hair follicle testing. Okay, so I get curious about levels. What exactly do levels mean? You know, like how high of a level would that actually be? Because again, I'm curious how the testing works, how all of this, like, what does that say? What does that mean? Besides a kid, that's horrible. Like I said, that's fucking horrible. I don't know anything else to say about that. It's like, Jesus. And again, you get to challenge this stuff. You'll get your day in court. And typically this, like I said, this stuff doesn't end up in public. But my God, man, when allegations like that, they come up that a child tests positive for a substance like cocaine. It's been everywhere today. It's been absolutely everywhere today. And I got looking at, again, hair follicle testing. You know, because, again, I don't do hair follicle testing. I've never really did that. But I was looking at, like, other cutoffs, like how cutoffs work and everything else, and where levels are supposed to be. And, you know, it wasn't in, like, low yield use. You know, you had a medium use. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. I need to talk to an expert about that to understand how every reading works. Because again, now I know how the place itself that does these has a give me a minute. They have a PowerPoint on how all of this comes together. Give me 1 second here. And their PowerPoint, it talks about, you know, detection, what negatives and positive. You know, the reason, if you're like, hey, you know, the entire document has been put out there, by the way. The entire document is there for your leisure if you want to see it. Like I said, I'll read specific items off of it. I don't feel good about putting up a document related to children. And it's not the item with, again, cocaine or anything to do with Nick. It's that it deals with children. Those are things that you don't end up with in the fucking public eye. It's just working with mental health. Again, I've I've seen plenty of cases, and this kind of stuff, it doesn't end up in the public. Like, simply put, like, it ended up. I read a thing that was posted about this on how it came up, allegedly. And again, the person that put this out said that if you went into, I can't remember if they said courthouse. I think they said if you went into one of the courthouses and you used one of the computers there, that this stuff, it was a document that was actually something you could find. It was easily, it was accessible for everybody. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but if that is, best case scenario, somebody would misfile an item like that. Worst case scenario, somebody hates your fucking guts. And that's, again, everybody can be like, haha, Nick Rekieta and stuff. But like I said, it's horrible when you're talking about kid. The kid thing is just, it's tragic all the way around. What you had, from the way the document reads, the way I understand it, and again, people can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but the way I understand the document, you had an emergency order where the kids were removed for X amount of days. After that, they have to show cause to continue. And what they said in the documents was that they weren't compliant with specific types of drug testing. Like, they had initially done drug testing, then afterward, they had agreed to do hair follicle testing. They were supposed to sign off on specific documentation to do it, and then they decided they were not going to do that. Now, again, we're not privy to the why that happens or anything else, but that, in connection with the item that we read, that's how it ends up. Hey, give me 1 second. What's up, Colonel Kurtz, by the way? I'm looking to see who else here. By the way, appreciate all of you. Yeah, drug testing, let's see. Drug testing won't give us information about how much was consumed over the last 3 months. Normal usage of 1 gram a week by consumption dose, about 500. Being a 9-year-old, would have to take that into account for the 5,000. I mean, it's a crazy level. Now, what I wanted to know, again, there are many questions that come up that I don't have the answers to. All right? Things like when they take hair follicle testing, can you have that retested? Does the court get to shut that down? The way I would understand that would be the court would decide, of course, but also whoever's, like, if the state's in charge, they could deny and be like, nah, no, you can't do that. You can request and be like, yo, can we have that retested in case it's a false positive or whatever. And the state, ultimately, they can shut that down and they can say no. It's concerning, though, with the state talking about, again, everything. One of the points that's brought up, again, in all of this, yes, everyone, it doesn't matter who they are innocent until proven guilty. But the state's, I'm just going to say, allegations. The state's allegations. They found a lot of cocaine in the house, and a child tested positive as well. Now, CPS or DHS, they're not friendly. They will step on you for anything. And bringing up one of their people in a live stream and talking about them, it seems like probably the worst thing I could ever think of doing. And again, I'm not a lawyer. I know people, I'm told over and over again, I don't know how the law works, or, I don't understand freedom of speech. You're allowed to say whatever. Well, you know what? I understand human nature. And I understand when you tell somebody that they're a lying piece of shit, again, I'm paraphrasing, but if you call somebody a lying piece of shit, they probably take that, they're going to internalize that a bit. They're going to take it personal. And they're also going to think maybe you're not complying with what you're doing, even if you're speaking out of anger or whatever. That's not going to do you any service. It's not going to do you any positive. Going out and talking about cops, judges, prosecutors, none of that would do you any good. But the Department of Human Services, or CPS, they are another level. And if you're out there and you're talking smack about one of them, like they get hell-bent on finding the letter of the law that you violated. They expect you to bend over backwards and to prove to them that you're going to be compliant with whatever. And if you don't do what they like, they get mad anyway. But then when you go out and you talk smack about them too, that's, like I said, that's probably the dumbest thing you could ever do. I mean, it's just crazy there. Oh, Lord. Last night, too, was an act. Ryrie test, if you want to share your results. What do you mean? I'm not sure with that. Well, they're sharing their, the state's sharing their result. There's so if you read through everything, it was posted on, again, it was, give me 1 second here. Let me find who posted this shit. Give me 1 second. Let me see. Because it's all over the place. And it's being broken down, this is what it says, or that's what it says. And the actual item itself, just give me 1 second. It was first posted by Breaking GNN at Gunt News. That was the first person that posted it on Twitter, but that's not the original. That's not where it originally posted. Again, I don't know anything about the particular account that ended up posting everything originally, where it came from and more. I'm going to read a few things, though. The document itself, I'm looking at it. I just don't want to stick this up here. Like I said, I'm afraid what I'm afraid of is I didn't redact a kid's name or something. And that disturbs me a bit. But he goes through, and it talks about, like, who's there, all the lawyers and everything. It actually gives some kids' names. And then right after that, and this was posted unredacted by people, by the way. You don't have to. If something leaks, you don't have to redact the kids' names, but you should. You really should. The kids, like I said, they're not the... It doesn't matter if their names are commonplace or anything. Come on. Let's just redact the fucking kids' names, Let's see. Petition-wise. A CHIPS petition was filed on the 24th. The alleged statutory grounds listed in that petition. They're basically what puts this together, prima facie findings. 1 second. The court previously found that the petition establishes prima facie showing that the juvenile protection matter exists. Children are subject to that matter. And they were saying, essentially, like the whole order here was saying that this is on health, safety, or welfare. And they're reviewing it. So they're having a hearing determining what's going on. Now, they break it down. They tell you, they were removed by law enforcement. They give the date, what exactly happened. They break down, this is because of a sheriff's office executing a search warrant. During a search warrant, narcotics and drugs paraphernalia were located. Parents are arrested, and the children, they're placed on a law enforcement hold. They give a background. I'm looking through the pages real quick. They also attached exhibits. Now, the exhibits were not leaked, but the exhibits, they noted exhibit for the drug testing of the parents and the drug testing of the kids. Now, the protective care determinations that they were discussing, they said, all participants given an opportunity to cross-examine, but really it breaks down to, there was a report involving them on the 23rd. Law enforcement goes into the home, executes a search warrant. We know exactly what they found, 26 grams. You have the Miss Sweep. That's the lady that's brought up. That's the lady that's actually talked about in the live stream. Miss Sweep says that went into the home while the search was ongoing. At the time, she learned the home was very cluttered. It was difficult to walk around the home without stepping on clothing, bedding, or blanket. Notes that all kids, but I guess the oldest one, was not present during the home, during all of that. So after being taken out, after being placed out of the home, that's when your hair follicle testing comes in. And all the children, they say, except for one of the kids, tests negative. One kid tests positive at the levels we noted. So it says, Mr. Rekieta, they submitted a hair follicle testing through the monitoring place. However, did not receive the results of those tests because subsequent to that, both of them revoked their release of information. And because of that, they've been unable to monitor the parents through additional drug testing. They also noted, and again, with Miss Sweep, said that she was allowed into the home, but was not allowed access into the parents' bedroom. And because of all of this, they were saying, it's in the best interest that continued custody of the children by the parents is contrary to the welfare of the kids. So at this time, they were extending the emergency stay. So essentially, and again, that's what happens when you don't comply with fucking. I listened last night, first of all, and I heard about, trusting the state and all of that, and I agree. I actually agree with a lot of stuff that's said there. I don't trust the government. That is very fucking true. And I think that people are innocent until proven guilty. However, having said that, I know how many of these organizations, especially CPS or DHS, operate. And they are not something to be trifled with. In Texas, there was a case in Texas where I keep thinking it was a governor of Texas or somebody in their family. They ended up entangled with CPS, and you had power, real power executed against CPS. But guess what? CPS has their own power. And when they responded to that, there wasn't anything they could do about it. So, CPS, you can tell me about the matters of the law and everything else. And over a long enough timeline, I hope to God, too. I'm telling you, again, I hear, like, when you say stuff like this, people are like, that's sweeping up. No way, man. I hope to God this stuff isn't true. I hope to God. I hope that everything I've thought about somebody would be right. I hope to God. I hope I don't understand how, conspiracy for 26 grams of cocaine ends up in your house. I haven't asked. I don't want to be subpoenaed on that. I don't understand even the idea that's being thrown out there, you know. Don't trust government? Yeah, okay, I got you. I hear you. I would say that even if a third of what I was hearing from people like Aaron, again, I don't know the guy, I don't know what's true or anything like that. Even if a third of that is there, and all the concerns that people voiced because they looked at and saw Rekieta and the condition that he was in, like if my eyes aren't lying to me, and even a third of that's right, man, there's some issues. Like, hopefully just get your life right, brother. I know. I don't say that from a hateful place. Like, I think I'm one of the nicest people about something like that. You know, like Worski said, he was like, you know, if excuse my wording on this, but Worski was like, you know, if Tug's a person that's trying to tard wrangle you, then it's bad, and that's true. You know, you can say whatever you want. You have the free speech. You don't know anything to any of us. But you owe it to your family, and you owe it to, you know, hopefully you owe it to yourself. You owe it to everyone else that depends on you. And it's no one else can fix this shit. Them. And I mean, if you fight it, like I felt, again, maybe I misheard everything last night, but it sounds like fight. And holy shit, man, if I've never been in a place where I've had 25 years hanging over my head and where the state could take everything away from me. I've never been in a place like that, and I hope to God never to be there. If I were there, I don't know if I would be like fight. I would be like, man, how do I stop it? How do I minimize like any damage and, you know, keep my kids there? How do I keep everything there? I might have a kid pop in for a minute, by the way. Give me 1 second. I mean, before I start this, I gotta organize this for 1 second. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to start this right here, and then I'm going to go situate something real fast. But I'm going to start this, and then I'll be right back. Let's just let it play.
It's like I haven't done this in a while. I'm almost set. I promise. I promise you a really shitty show is coming. Just hold on as I get everything ready. It was all ready. I was actually ready well in advance. But the great thing about this is everybody wants you to like they want you to like address everything. And so I'll have to address everything in a very specific way, because I don't know if you guys know, but there are certain charges and allegations against me at the moment. And I have to talk in very specific ways about those things. Typically not talking about them is what I have to do. But I have to talk a little bit about them because I talk in public for a living and people want.
By the way, okay, I found this out for sure. I am 100% sure about this, by the way. There was a delay for about 40 minutes last night. Maybe 45. You know, people were making jokes about it and everything else. You know, oh man, you know, what's going on? Is there a bathroom break? Yeah, it really was a rumble for you. I was like, you know, is it all because of the documentation that's dropped out there? Is that, you know, I mean, when I saw that, I was like, are we really going to have a live for real? Like, how could you ignore this stuff? And it became all about this. Like, this entire stream becomes about the thing that is supposed to not be talked about. So I don't know how you wouldn't talk about all of that documentation and stuff coming up. I mean, it's everywhere. Let me turn closed captions on too. But I don't know how you wouldn't talk about it. I thought, man, lawyers, they tell you, don't go out and say things that make things worse. And when you look at this, does this make things better? I mean, it's up to you. Let's continue.
Want to know what's going on, obviously. Why is it on this other fucking channel? Rumble right now is really pissing me off. It doesn't matter. We're just going to do this. I'm going to talk for a minute, very briefly, and then I'm going to read the chats and then we'll go. This is not going to be a long stream. It was going to be a much longer stream, but first, the release of information that's supposed to be protected at a very specific time, right after I announce a show and right before the show starts, is something that is concerning. And of course, I will have a lawyer looking into that right away. I know people want to draw conclusions from whatever's going on. And look, there's no way around it. There's nothing to say other than people will get to draw their conclusions from what they read. I'm not here to fight you guys at all. I'm not here to fight your conclusions. I'm not here to fight or justify or prove anything. I don't need to do that for you. Believe it or not, a lot of really well-meaning friends want me to do that. And these people are lawyers, which is shocking.
I actually don't think you should do this, by the way. I'm not a lawyer, but I don't think you should explain anything. I would say quite the opposite. Now, you have a weird place where your career is online. You're going to be inundated with questions. In fact, last night was the first time I had ever seen questions removed from a Rekieta chat. First time I had ever seen that transpire. So, give me a second, I'm going to mute something. But you knew they were going to come up. And then people waited 45 minutes, so they got kind of crazy, That's exactly, I saw somebody comment, it's no longer locals. You're no longer at locals. And that's true. Locals, member streams, they controlled some of that chaos. But when you step out into YouTube and you step out into open commentary, man, I mean, it was like a flash flood of, you can't ignore this. That's everybody and their mama's going to comment on this stuff. So how do you ignore it? Well, apparently, I guess you talk about it.
They want me. I'll say it this way. They say, Nick, you need to do X, Y, and Z because of your YouTube channel and your online image. And my response is, sir, madam, I don't know if you know this, but the lowest priority in my life right now is my public image for the purposes of YouTube and Rumble. So any of you who want me to come out here and do some weird grandiose apology or prostrate myself in front of you, let me just help you with my public image right now. Fuck you. Right in your goddamn mouth. I'm not here to worry about what you think about me. And that should be obvious to damn near anybody. And if you think it's in my character to come out and grovel before you and say, oh, I'm so sorry I let you down. I didn't let you down. I didn't pick you up. I didn't make you, and I didn't make promises to you. So if you feel let down by me, let yourself down from the stool, Robin Williams. I'm not here for you. I'm not here to own your feelings And I'm not here to apologize to your feelings and sensibilities either.
Why is Robin Williams got to catch strays, by the way, Nick? Come on, man.
And if I did, you shouldn't respect me, because anybody who comes out like a little fucking bitch and says, I really am worried about my public image, not my family, not my liberty, not holding government accountable, none of that, but my public image, my public image. Well, you're probably a fat Canadian, or maybe a skinny Canadian who can't fly to the right city. Or maybe you're a doughy Minnesotan. I don't know who you are, but I'm not here to apologize to you or for anything. I am under the thumb of government at the moment, which means government gets to say whatever they want about me, and I don't get to respond. That's a shit place to be. We've talked about it a lot on this show. What's funny is a lot of my colleagues have talked a lot about it too. But the moment it happens, they all tuck their nuts up into their own assholes and become the biggest pack of fucking gabbling women I've ever seen.
Oh, Lord.
Running around, come out, apologize, bow down, bow, beg, tell everybody that you're sorry. For what? What am I sorry for? They don't know.
I think people are saying more like, hey, maybe rehab, maybe take a few minutes, you know. That'll get your mind right. Being online, first of all, during all of this stuff is not good for you. It's not. I realize people have to work. I don't know monetary place. I don't know stress or anything else. But I know if your mind ain't right, if you aren't equipped to handle this, it will break you. It will fucking break you. And on top of it, you know, it serves every interest in that. And again, I'm not saying that as, I'm saying that as a fucking mental health person. I'm looking at that, and I just said, like, get you some skills that work out. You know, things that help you out, things that help you deal with stress, and learn a way to, I don't know how you ignore the, I don't know if you're going online and you're streaming, how you don't end up talking about this. And you don't say the wrong thing. You know, the message at the beginning isn't necessarily something that's going to be potentially I mean, it could be weaponized. Anything can be weaponized against you. But, other stuff comes up too.
What I'm supposed to be sorry for, I don't know what I'm supposed to be sorry for. What I know is the government has accused me of some criminal acts. Those criminal acts have impacted me and my family.
Yeah.
The accusation from government is not a conviction. It may convict you in the eyes of people, and that's fine. If I'm convicted in your eyes, good. Go find someone else. You're now validated. I bid you adieu. I'm sorry I let you down by never promising anything and doing something that you didn't approve of, maybe. Except that thing that I'm supposed to have done still remains to be seen.
I got a lot of people, by the way, that tell me not to talk about this. People that I know. Don't talk about it. And I'm like, why not? Why? I've been told not. That's not Rekieta, by the way. You know. It's not, just to make that clear. But there are a lot of people that are like, and I'm like, what is your one and done fucking good times message done for anybody? What did that do? Does that make you a friend? Is a real friend somebody that puts up a message on Twitter and says, man, I'm hoping for the best for you, and does fuck all from then on? Is that a friend? Because if those are friends, I don't need them in my life. I'm just going to say that when times get tough, I don't need a bunch of Twitter fucking messages telling me, man, I hope you get better. Because on the other side of it, man, that means fuck all. When you're standing strong, people that they tell you what you don't want to hear, and they say it loud. Those are people that want to be in your corner. They want you to do better. And again, it's not for like any of us or people that are listening or anything. It's for the people that depend on you, man. I mean, shit. And again, yeah, I agree. You know, accusation is accusation. I would love it explained to me how, like, if somebody found an 8-ball in my pocket, you know, I'd be like, that's planted. You know, if it were found in my pocket, it'd definitely be planted. Because, you know, but the rest of it, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, let me continue.
But I will say this. I will be holding government to its full accountability to the extent of my rights. And anybody who thinks I shouldn't do that, okay. I don't know what law channels you're watching. Probably a cockeyed Koreans or something. Someone who doesn't understand the value of innocence until proven guilt. Someone who doesn't understand the value of constitutional rights. Or maybe people who just like to talk really big about not listening to government until the government comes knocking. Then suddenly they're fucking pussies running around in the truest definitions of a 90s faggot, crying, prostrating themselves, begging for the leather to put their tongue on like it's a big chocolate starfish of their local police chief or whatever. Sorry. You will never, ever find that attitude from me or my channel. And you will never have me apologize to you for anything in my life other than being late to streams and being generally inept and retarded at running them. I'll apologize for that because I'm guilty of that. But anybody out there speculating right now about whether or not a government document is accurate, well,
that's kind of what we do, though. I mean, we're not speculating on... I guess we do. You know, I'm not going to say people don't speculate. But we read court documents, you know. We do. I want a court document. I actually want... And again, I am guilty of fucking speculation. I don't know how you're not going to be, but don't we all read court documents? Isn't that what we do? And again, that document that came out yesterday, I'll talk a little bit more about that because again, that document should not have been in the public. And that again has nothing to do with Rekieta. It has everything to do with there are a lot of laws protecting kids. And that document should have never fucking made its way into the public eye. It doesn't matter what accusation it held. And the accusation, man, those things are crushing. But again, it's not about the parents in that. It's about the kids. But anyway.
I'll let you determine if government is accurate or not. It's not up to me. It's up to the government to prove they're accurate.
That's true.
As for me, I have a lot to say about what is on documents that have been released. Paper copies of documents released before they're available to the public. That's a little strange. Case files that are protected being accessed by members of the public. That's a little strange. The timing of certain drops coming out. That's a little strange. The thinness of a search warrant's probable cause statement. Very strange. But it's not for me to fight these things on YouTube. And anybody who suggests that I should, or that I have some duty to explain to you my legal strategy, my legal avenues for doing this, or that anything I say or don't say is somehow either an admission or an omission of some duty I owe to the general public. Anyone who's saying that, anyone who is saying that is a lying grifter in the truest, not funny sense of the word. And I have zero respect for anyone like that, especially if they call themselves a lawyer. Anyone who calls themselves a lawyer and immediately demands me to run out and bend over before government not only shouldn't be a lawyer, they shouldn't be an American, and they shouldn't be a lot of other things. Because last I checked, we don't do that round here. I've long talked about
who's that directed at, by the way. They chat. Let me know, like, which lawyer is saying that you need to bow down before government. I mean, I've talked about, hey man, maybe a plea, your first timer. I mean, people have talked about that for sure. I haven't watched everybody's coverage either. Is it all just mindset? Is that? I know he said a cockeyed Korean, so I knew he was talking about there. I knew exactly where that was aimed. But is that all just... Okay.
the transparency of courts and what they're for. It's amazingly ironic to me that people hear me talk about that. They'll agree with me. The transparency of courts was always to hold government accountable, by the way, not your fellow man. It was always to hold government accountable. It was because prior to the United States, the legal system was that of the King of England. And he had the Star Chamber. He was the court. He was the enforcement arm of law, the judgment arm of law. And those courts were held in private. People's charges were private. The details about them were private. The public wasn't allowed to analyze them. I've talked about how even though it can be embarrassing, our country was founded on the principle of distrust of its authority, distrust of its government, a healthy, necessary evil of putting a few people in charge of many, but holding them accountable and adhering to freedom. And the amount of fucking pussies out there now who consistently lose that principle and say, no, actually, government must be correct at all times, baffles me. Baffles me more when they work with the government in the system and still think that way. I will not. I never will. You'll never get that from me on this channel. I will not be coming out here crying to you about something that didn't ever involve anyone here. You watch this show because for some reason it entertains you. I often fucking wonder what it is. Because I couldn't watch my show. I would find it terrible. And maybe you do, and maybe that's what you like. That's cool. Maybe you find it wildly enjoyable. That's great. I'm glad. I come out here to entertain you. Now, this stream is not about entertainment, although many of you will probably be entertained by it, and that's good. This stream is one of the few real serious streams that I have to do. Because I will be back full-time streaming. And this was going to be the announcement for that. A little bit of recognition of the differences in the studio that I have. Well, not different. It's the same studio, but different decorations and arrangements of things. And there's still some stuff to be done on it. We were going to talk about my biggest current concern, which is I got more fan mail, but tonight's no longer appropriate for that. Yes, that's right. In the midst of all of this, I got an ethics complaint for swearing too fucking much, which puts me at, I think, 57. I think. I lost count.
Remember when we used to laugh about all that? It seems so long ago, Nick. Seems so long ago, buddy. You know, the fun seems so long ago. That's the other thing I wonder about shows. If they're not fun, why do I won't stream if I'm in a bad mood, for example. You'll notice I take days off. That's because my mind's not right. Something's bothering me, you know, I've got something going on, or whatever, you know. I will not stream on those days because it reflects on the quality of what I do. And, you know, it's just, if you can't enjoy it, if you're not enjoying it, then other people don't enjoy it. And you definitely aren't enjoying this. That's for sure. There were, 6,000 people watching last night? Big crowd, for sure. Big crowd. And like I said, even before the document leak, I wondered how you would be able to ignore everything that came out of the chat. Because that's all it was going to be about. You know, if you looked at the chat at all last night, that's all that was discussed. And you could remove the document that dropped. It was still about everything else that led up to that. I can't ignore the chat totally. Like, even if I wanted to ignore the chat, I look. And even if you did that, super chats are going to pop up. And people are going to super chat just to, you know, to get a reaction. And they did get reactions. They very much did. And that makes me wonder if you're equipped to do this, you know? I mean, again, you know, I say all this, like I said, I feel like I'm probably the nicest person out of anybody that has talked about that, because the best thing for all the other people that depend upon Rekieta is for Rekieta to be at a place where he can self-manage and all this other stuff work out however it does. You know, if it indeed is a plot or conspiracy or whatever is being said there, you know. I don't know, man. I'm gonna let it play. I get a loss for words. Sometimes at this entire thing, I get a loss for words sometimes. Because I look at it, and like Rekieta said, he doesn't owe anybody. He can do it however he wants. He has a certain mindset. I'm afraid I can see where this goes. And I don't want to be right about that. Because if I'm right about that in any way, shape, or form, it's going to lead to a place that it's going to be very bad. It was already looking pretty bad before. But this is going to be a different level of bad. It's a bad that could end up, again, he's talked about government and facing off with government. And that's very much true. Regardless of how you ended up here, you are facing off with them. And yes, they do have the quote-unquote letter of the law, but they are individuals. And if you're saying those individuals are corrupt as fuck and they do horrible things, how do you think they're going to respond to some of the stuff that's there? They're not going to respond to it on paper. Like, I think that gets lost sometimes in lawyer brain. You know, police are supposed to act a certain way too. That doesn't stop them from kneeling on people's necks or, you know, whatever. The supposed to happen and what does happen. You know, they take things very personally, and they will look for the letter of the law to make sure that you have the least optimal outcome. Let's call it that. The one that you definitely don't want. I don't know how to say that any clearer. You know, you insult fuckers, they will respond. And these people have power. They have power over you right now. That's not your chat. That's not YouTube. They used YouTube before. So what makes you think they're not watching every single thing you say? Because you know they are. Even if they weren't, you know, people are going to clip that shit and they're going to send it to them. That's just the reality of this stuff.
It was going to be a more entertainment-focused show. I know people are going to have commentary. They're going to have questions. They're going to have demands about my situation. And I'll just have to say, all the things I'm going to say impactful to my case will be said through counsel in court. They won't be said here. You've watched this channel long enough, you should understand that. And if that's not acceptable to you, too fucking bad. There's no other way for me to do it. Right now, I am charged with a serious felony. Many of you have heard that sentence. Possibility is 25 years. It's a very unlikely outcome for someone like me, but it is a possibility, I suppose, in the grand scheme of things. That's not something to be taken lightly. It's not something to be laughed at. People come out and they say, Nick hasn't taken accountability for his actions. And I'm like, the government hasn't proven my actions. So how can I take accountability for that which hasn't been shown? What I do know is this. I have counsel in this case. People thought I would represent myself because
Good.
I guess they're retarded. I have counsel in this case. He seems like a good dude, a competent dude, and we will be going through this and doing what needs to be done. I see a lot of speculation on the internet, and I can see basically all of it has many of the major details wrong. And that's fine. Most of the details aren't for anybody. And that covers a whole lot more than the criminal case, just my life. My life story is becoming marvelously interesting, even though it's painful and really fucking annoying a lot of the time. But government will be dealt with.
If this is what makes your life interesting, by the way, I don't ever want my life to be interesting. I want a very boring life story. You know, I think most people could agree. If this is if that's what's meant by an interesting life story, you know, I don't need a bestseller there.
As I guess time permits, allows, I'm not even sure how to say it. As the time becomes appropriate, government will be dealt with in course. These charges will be dealt with in course. And I know what many of you are saying about these types of charges and the allegations against me. And you know what? Say what you will. Watch. You get to watch it live. You get to see what it does with me, to me. You get to see the outcome as it happens. It's pretty fucking rare. Should be a good show for you guys. For me, it'll be one of the most stressful and horrifying times of my entire life. As I've always said, being under indictment by the government is one of the worst positions people can be in.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll deal with it. Because unlike groveling, sniveling commentators online who've never had to deal with any actual adversity in their lives, that's what you do. That's not what a man does. That's not what a woman does. It's not about masculinity or femininity or anything. That's about what people have to do. There are times in your life where you are faced with something that you never could have imagined, that you never could predict, that you will not be prepared for. And again, I feel like a broken ass record because I've said all of this in the context of other people. When you are under the thumb of government, you are not prepared for it. No matter what you think you are not prepared for it. They will go after you in ways that you do not expect. They will come at you with information and you won't know if it's true. And you won't be able to adequately challenge it right away. There's a process. And that process in and of itself is designed to grind you into dirt. It's designed to make you capitulate to government. Because they'll say, we have this and this and this. And you'll say, fuck you, show me. And when you do take a moment, and you work with government, and you can find this in the recently leaked documents, and you cooperate by, say, asking them to come into your home, they will.
See, so people were saying documents are fake and everything. Okay. Recently leaked document. Come into your home. There you go. I mean, that's a statement about it. You know, people were pointing out other portions saying, well, this seems to be about that. This seems to be about this. Well, there you go. That's discussing one of the items that is straight up out of that document. So,
will lie under oath to the judge. That's right, Alicia Sweep. They will lie under oath to the judge. They will fabricate a situation that did not occur. They will lie about.
No, somebody said he's not saying they're fake. No, a lot of people have been saying they're fake documents. A lot of people have been like, they're fake. They're fake. They're this, they're that. They got to be fake. You know, because they're documents that, as far as confirmation is concerned, they're items that, when you call them leaked documents, they very well are leaked documents. They weren't meant to be in the public eye.
Your willingness to cooperate. They will lie about things that you said. They will generate statements said by other people out of nothing because I was there and that wasn't said. They will violate the rules of evidence. They will violate the rules of civil procedure. They will violate the rules of juvenile procedure. And disinterested judges and very fucking terrible attorneys will let it all go. Because everyone grovels at the feet of government. But I don't. If you're ever in a situation like mine, and I pray that you're not, do not allow anyone to convince you that you should grovel before government or just accept an outcome. Don't do it. Government's system of punishment is designed to fuck you. And it does it mercilessly, relentlessly, unapologetically, and it doesn't even call you good girl and spit in your mouth. It just does it. And when you're tired and bleeding on the bed, it does it again and again and again. You can't roll over until you're sore enough. And that's what they want you to do, is roll over. Don't. Fight for your rights. You have them. They exist for a reason, including your right to free speech. And I will sit here and I will fight for every one of those commentators' rights to be a giant coward in the face of someone else's plight. And it's amazing to watch these people that I thought were courageous quiver in fear, performatively, just to beg you for one more $20 donation, please. It's embarrassing.
Hey, would you like to donate $20? I'm just kidding. Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
With that, as stated, I will not be talking about my case. I will be resuming content focused on the same things we always focus on. That content will be absent any alcohol or anything else.
Somebody asked, is Nick a narcissist? You don't remote diagnose people with anything. I think, I see, I agree with, again, I don't think this leads you to the best outcome. I agree, though. You have no idea, this stuff would grind you to dust. I've been in mild situations online, and nothing like this, and they're grinding. Life grinds. I mean, I'm sure you all have had some kind of the word adversity came up. People haven't been through adversity. You've been through it in some way, shape, or form. And, it's not just a sound bite or a clip or a moment. You go through it day to day, hour to hour, minute to minute. The thing is, we don't see this happen. Most people don't televise what they're going through, and I don't know if that's a good thing. As I don't know if you're showing that, because your emotions led. The live stream that they talked about with Probable Cause was filled with emotion. It was filled with alcohol or whatever else, but it was filled with emotion. And that led to a lot of statements that, was like, you don't want to say that, right? You go out there, you're angry. Typically when you're angry, like if I'm angry about a fucking law that passed or something that's gone on, in the political or social arena, man, I can rant without any there may be a consequence for the channel. I may have a stupid take and people laugh at me forever, but it's not going to have real world ramifications on me, because social media, in that respect, is not real. Not really. It's its own thing. I can turn it off and, as people like to say, I can go touch grass. With this, though, yeah, it's more akin to, if I say the wrong thing, somebody might take a fucking flamethrower to my yard. I might not ever be able to touch grass again. They may concrete it and put me in a cell, potentially.
That content will be jovial and lighthearted most of the time, except maybe if I'm in a bad mood. Because guess what, guys? You've always gotten me, not a performative thing, not some mask, not some persona. You get me wherever I am. And sometimes, I know over the past couple of years, you've gotten a dark version.
By the way, Barnabas Collins, thank you for that $20 there. I can't help myself sometimes. I mean, we run a very professional outlet here. But thank you for that $20.
You've gotten me on a really shitty fucking day. But hey, everybody has some shitty days. You've got me on some really fucking good ones too. Hope to have many more of those with you. That being said, I am going to switch over. We're going to read all the super chats that we've got. I'm not going to answer too many questions that involve anything even close to my case. Obviously, I think you guys can understand that. Again, what's so shocking to me are all the lawyers who suddenly forgot that you can't talk about a fucking criminal case. They'll tell you, they'll say it. They'll say it on Twitter and stuff. They'll be like, oh, Nick shouldn't be talking. When I tell a joke about cops.
That's me, by the way. I'm not a lawyer. Just to say. That was me. And 100%, you have the right to say whatever you want to say. I'm going to be like, yo, dude, you don't want to make fun of the cops right now. You ever watch those videos online where a person gets pulled over and they decide, hey, I'm going to laugh at that cop. You know, I'm going to make him the punchline right now. That doesn't always turn out very well. Every now and then you'll get a cop that's, you're like, haha, that's pretty funny. But more often than not, they don't have a very good sense of humor. You know, so timing's the key, you know. It reminds me of, remember in Die Hard when McClane goes out and he has a sign and he has a certain N-word on there and people are thinking about killing him. Timing, baby. Timing, you know? Yeah. Know the audience.
Talking about my house, like, and labeled, this is clearly a joke. Like, oh my God, Nick shouldn't say that. Ugh. And then they'll come out and they'll be like, Nick needs to apologize for everything he's accused of. And I'm like, accused of is the word here. Accused of. Let's let the government fucking prove anything first. Let's let them prove anything. Because they haven't even had an opportunity to do so. That's the best part. One day, though, I get to tell you about all of this. But right now, we have Constitution to worry about. My personal liberty is what I'm concerned with.
You know, the other thing that all of this does, when you address it to a point, when you give some of the cliff notes, it does make people speculate. It leads to more. People are going to be like, yo, what's going on here? And, you know, if you're saying, again, government's stepping on me and stuff, and you rant about it for like 30 minutes, an hour and 30 minutes, whatever, people are definitely going to speculate. And it fires up the conversation about it again, you know, repeatedly.
The welfare and well-being of my family, despite the little memes about it, has always been and will always be my top priority.
Good.
Anyone suggesting otherwise? Well, I don't want to violate YouTube's rules about encouraging self-harm. So I won't comment further on what you should do. There are 6 people in this world that have consistently mattered to me more than my own safety or anything else. And that's my wife and my children. There's a short list of people who sit just below them, and then there's every other concern on the planet. But anyone suggesting otherwise, come talk to me about it. Not at my house, though, because if you come to my house, I'll treat you like a stalker.
I really hope that was just a random comment. You know, there were people that talked about online. They were like, we thought about doing an intervention. People thought about going to his home. Now, I was like, that would be awful and dumb. By the way, you know, an online intervention, yeah, that would go about how you would expect. You know, it couldn't be a public thing. It would have to be something else. I hope that's just a random comment. And not about hey man, we're here to help you out. Well, stalker. It's like, whoa. I hope that's random.
And I am dead fucking serious about that. Here we go. Jim tells you, what's up, Jim? Welcome back. Please support Comicsgate creator.
That's true, too. Actually, here's a question. So, Nick, right now, doesn't have any pow-pows that I'm aware of. He's like, I'm going to fuck you up with a pool noodle and a Baldo. No, wait. I shouldn't talk about those. Oh, Nick, I'm not laughing at his situation. It's a fucking tragic fucking situation. It is. Like I said, at the end of the day, people will say too, man, private conversations, everything. This is fucking being sent publicly. What the fuck, man? You know. I'm gonna
Scott
let
McCullough's
Super
new
Chats,
Mech
like,
Warrior campaign
somebody's
land
getting
in Sea
interested.
Paradise. Nappy Soldier Neuro Funk, drum and bass music producer, says this, your Las Vegas DJ, and still down for my boy to DJ the next one. Chin up, my broski. Much love. Hey, man, thank you. I'll hit you up on that. Darth Bender says, welcome back, Nick. Sees the day. Says, band trolls. Free chat of Toxic here for the Pope. Some people are like laughing that I have, or like, I don't even want to say laughing. Like, oh, he has Law Pope as a vanity plate? Yes. It was a funny joke when I got it. And people are like, I don't know about that. It's like, people's memories are like fucking goldfish, and their ability to remember that life is still supposed to be fun. Christopher, thanks for the donation.
I didn't realize, like, maybe my memory is Swiss cheese, but I didn't realize that until the dozens of pictures of him just out doing random things came up. Like, that's another thing to remember. You know, again, very well-meaning people talking about, hey, I saw Nick and, you know, this is how he seems to be doing, or this or that in so many situations. But still, you know, it just shows you the level of monitoring scrutiny. You know, it's the first thing I was like, wow, I've never seen that car before, you know, in outside of a picture. Like, I've never paid attention to it. Whoa, does that have a vanity plate on it? Law Pope? If you want to have a vanity plate too, you know, you do you. I mean, hell. Like I've said before, I'd have if it wasn't a major freaking cost, and I wouldn't be wasting my money. I thought it would always be funny to have a platinum grill. You know, I've never dropped the money on it. So,
Joshua Smith Hawley says, I love all the people in here mad about Nick enjoying what America has to offer. You all feel betrayed but turn a blind eye to your taxpayer dollars, unaliving people in other countries. Again, look, I don't know what I did to any particular person out there that's mad. I didn't do anything to you at all. I'm not even accused of doing anything to you. So go deal with whatever your anger management issues are, however you need to do them. Bad Luck Boy says, Aaron is 0-2 at boxing. Ouch. I don't know anything about boxing records. He always claims to be 1-1, though. Something about, like, they changed the decision later because he was beat up, but he was beat up illegally or something. I don't know. I'm not sure. But that's what he always claimed. You guys have to check that out. I'm not here to comment about Aaron Inholt or anything that he has to say. He gets to say whatever he wants. I hope he makes $1 million.
oh no, he's going to make $1 million, Nick. Please, Nick. The next live stream you do, by the way, please say that you hope I'll make $1 million sarcastically. Can you kick it up like $10 million? I'd really like to have a lot of disposable income, you know, after I pay that oppressive government we've just talked about. So please wish me, you know, success with $1 million or more.
Rosemary J, welcome to Paralegal Status. Same with Brandon Lesko. A Spooky Ghost says, stop neglecting your stream. We're not your kids. I don't neglect either of you. Angel Australia says, good to see you back, Nick. Peace, homo. Corrections 101 says, looking and sounding great, Nikki. Keep it up. Thank you. Ugly Dan says, can you say yayo? I've been a fan since like 2021. Get it together, Nick. My karma went to shit on Reddit defending you. Let me address this real quick. This is actually really fucking important. Some people have said to me like, hey, it's hard to defend you or this and this. Defending you. Stop. I never asked anybody to defend me. Ever. This goes all the way back to the Vic days when people are like, Nick, I defended you online, and then people started coming after me. I'm like, please don't. Please don't. You guys have read the allegations against me, I assume. You don't need to defend me. Those allegations exist from the government. They've been made. People are not going to accept your defense of me, and they don't have to. Please don't defend me. Do you even see me defending myself? No, I'm defending myself in court. Because again, the shocking number of people asking me to come online and defend my public image must have missed the fucking bus. And it must be a short one, I guess, because you should know that my public image is just who I am.
Public image, though, has been a thing for a long time. I know when we see news commentators or anyone else come out and make sure to say, hey, you know, something's going on. There's a lot of people concerned, you know, and make a certain statement about that. Because ultimately, this is the medium people can walk away from you on. So no, you don't have to make any comment on that. You actually don't know anybody there, but you do. And again, when I look at my channel, for example, you know what I see? I see a lot of people that show up and make something work. Like right now, there's quite a few of you in the chat, and I appreciate the shit out of that. You know, agree, disagree, whatever. It doesn't matter. You are the channel there, and you show up for whatever fucking reason, you know. And if I'm fucking up, hopefully I can recognize that, and I can say, yo, I'm trying. I'm fallible. I'm a human being, and I try to do better. You know. I don't know. Sometimes it feels like stubbornness off of that. I mean, this stuff, it falls apart so easy. You lose it all so easily. People it's like grasping at sand, man. It just falls through. You know, people move on to something else. And one day you may wake up and realize everyone moved on. And no, you didn't know them a damn thing. But you can give them something there, you know. People care about, like, this is the other thing. People respond to that. Ultimately, there are a lot of people out there that'll laugh and, well, they do it though. I mean, people like a redemption story just as much as they like the wheels falling off of something. People love to watch a train wreck or a car wreck. You know, let's slow down and look at it. But they also love redemption stories. And people are very freaking forgiving of that. They are. I mean, they want to. It's human nature, you know. Ha ha ha. You know, yeah. You're fucking up. You make fun of yourself a bit. You know, you're self-deprecating. Rekieta can be very good at that. He's also going to mean this in a very nice way. He's the fucking most stubborn person I've ever met. That can be the greatest thing, like when you're trying to build up. When people say you can't do something or whatever, but it can also be one of the worst traits that you can have sometimes.
And you should know that there's no fucking way on earth I'm going to capitulate to a government accusation. The government has a burden. They have to meet it. Until they meet it, fuck it. Meet your burden. Then we'll talk. If they do, then we'll deal with that. But right now, they haven't even had to try. So until that's done, I'm not going to sit here and capitulate to anything. But the converse is, that means I don't get to defend myself. Okay. You shouldn't either. Don't put yourself out there on my behalf. I've never asked anybody to do that. I wouldn't ask you to do that. So I know your karma score on Reddit isn't important. Well, maybe it is really important, but seriously, when you get involved with some of this stuff, with some of the people who are out there, especially some of the people who are out there commenting about me, you open yourself up to personal inspection, ridicule, and possibly more. Don't do that. It's not your cross to bear. I don't want your help defending me in that way at all. If there's something that I need help with, it'll be something that I'm looking for to be given to my lawyer to use in court. And I would ask that very specifically. I'm not asking for anything like that right now. Because right now, it's all on government to prove anything. Right now, I stand accused. Until a different outcome occurs, I do not stand convicted. And I hope to never stand convicted of anything.
That's true.
Well, except for maybe a few thousand speeding tickets. Joseph Fazio says, Return of the King of Late Night. Lady Law Sandra says, we love you. Sandra, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Quiet Rider says, this is a great way to get back to practicing law, right, Raggeds? God, no. Lady Law Sandra says, you made LawTube. The worst thing. Don't put that on my tombstone, please. Wick Dipper says, kicking Cherokee to the curb really started a shitstorm. That it did. Seedfan85 says, I see the fascist haircut has returned. Is there a story behind it this time? Look, it's summer. In summer, I have my dude bring it down way, way low because I have a heat allergy.
Yes, one time I was actually trying to use a weed eater too, and I too got my hair stuck in it. No, I'm just kidding. It never happened. I blame it on my guy there. Yeah, didn't really know how to use that fucking weed eater.
Something I've openly talked about forever. I have a heat allergy. I get hives when I get warm. I scratch them. Sometimes they bleed.
So, you know, that's about the marks on the arm. Now, this would be an interesting question to ask a lawyer. Is that a good defense for those? I mean, is it really? Again, I'm just talking about from law perspective. Would that work? If it's documented that I break out in hives, I've taken medication for it. I mean, I wonder if there's anything for that. Setting up that defense, man, or that explanation there.
Corrections 101 says, praying for you and your family, Nikki. Thank you. Stay strong, brother. You looking sound great. Appreciate that. Anime Sucks. Cope and Sneed says, hey, Nick. So I wasn't kidding when I asked if you could show this on stream and critique it. Files.catbox.mo. No, sorry, I'm not doing anything like that today. Mario Carter 13. I don't know what you said. Ugly Dance, because it was moderated out, I guess.
Yeah, that's the first time I've ever seen that, by the way. I saw super chats being moderated out. Now, there is if you ban a person and they've super chatted, then their message, if it pops up for, I forget how long, it's a relatively short amount of time, it'll delete that message too. So some of them would pop up, as deleted, but I did see a couple of them pop up on screen that were deleted by. So there were actually super chats, money that was thrown back. I've never seen that before. I thought that was like fascinating to behold. Actual 5s, 10s, 20s. Message gone. And like I said, some of them were because somebody had been that had been banned within a certain amount of time. But some of them had been outright erased as far as the super chat itself.
Ugly Dan says, on behalf of a community, you're not funny anymore. Cool. Good. I didn't claim to be funny. I mean, except to me, I laugh.
I'm gonna say too, if you super chat something, as long as it doesn't violate fucking terms of service here, you know, I like that money. I can ignore your question. You know, I can look at it and read a part and be like, bah, I'm not reading that, you know, or whatever. But I will gladly take people's money when it comes up. It's like, like I said, it's strange. It was also, it's interesting because, you know, I have a wrench in that chat. I have been told forever, do not ban anyone ever. I've been told that over and over with the Rekieta streams. Never ban a person. A wrench, basically, you know, it was a decorative piece, you know, a set piece there, as it were. You know, I used it a couple of times to ban like spam bots. You know, back when YouTube was flooded with spam bots. You remember? I'm sure you remember the prawn bot invasion, but besides that, also never, ever do anything with that. Every mod had been told that. So it was strange to see.
For my jokes, but sometimes I laugh at things that aren't funny. Seize the day, sent a bunch of hearts, beautifully said, FM. IDK anymore says, at least PPP doesn't have kids with Coke on them. If PPP has kids, he's probably about to eat them. Four Loop Media says, why aren't you grifting off your big return?
Oh no, PPP. You know that's not going to get clipped for Kino, right? I mean, you definitely know they're not gonna clip and laugh at you for it, and say that you're being, what is it, felted, and that's Kino, and it's definitely not gonna make that. Oh. Why would you encourage that? Oh Lord. Why? I mean, for real, any of you out in the chat, like if you were like, man, this stuff it's hard to deal with. It's terrible. This shit, you have no idea. This stuff grinds you down. By the way, PPP, blah, 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 blah. I'd be like, yeah, you said that. I would have been, you know, that'd have been the perfect time to be like, yeah, PPP, I hope you make $1 million, you know, or something like that, you know, and they're going to laugh. I don't know. Anyway.
I don't know what you want me to do to grift off of it, but I think I'm going to do okay. I do my thing. There's often not enough planning. You got felted says, here's to your legal fund, hoping you get the full 25 years, you piece of shit. Casino always wins. Well, I got news for you. If you read the sentencing guidelines, it's very unlikely. Ty Beard says, you, sir, are a steel-eyed missile man. I'm proud to call you my friend. Hey, thanks, Ty. How you doing, buddy? Eric from Wisconsin says, love you, bro. Focus on you and yours. Forget everyone else. All that matters is family and defeating government. Love from Wisconsin. Thank you. Bernie Garcon, message was deleted. I'm not sure. Again, I don't know what it was, but if you sent some message that involved personal information, I don't care wherever it is on the internet. If it's information about my kids or something like that, and I don't know what this one was, it's not going to hang around. Inquisitor Media says, favorite brand of SpaghettiOs. There's only one brand. SpaghettiOs is a brand.
Oh, no.
It's a brand. Cody the Bum says, F yeah, Nick. McNasty says, want to ask you, Nick, about this current thing where a lot of old heads are getting bashed for a misstep. Not just you, but Masterson, Medicare, etc. Is this just a cycle of the internet to jump on the fallen of some other BS? It's just the nature of the business. You talk about people, you're going to get talked about. You're going to make somebody mad, and then they're going to do something.
No, it's fucking internet. It's that, whatever you call it, a sector or whatever. That's internet blood sport. That is a specific area of the internet. You know, you step in that fucking ring, and you know, you laugh at people when they fall. They laugh at you when you fall too.
Something to you. Like sometimes things happen and people get a wrong idea in their heads and they feel justified in trying to cause you and the people that you love serious amounts of pain. That's not most people on the internet. Most people on the internet just laugh at the ongoing dumpster fire that is all over and circling around them. But there are some sad, pathetic people who can't realize their own inadequacy. And when that inadequacy manifests and their life suffers consequences because their inability to be introspective, their unwillingness to self-examine or accept criticism or even self-critique, they rewrite their own history. They make up stories. They come up with a timeline and a set of facts that doesn't exist to justify their own failures. No matter how many times those failures were pointed out to them in friendly ways, they just can't do it.
So let me think about that statement there for a minute. So you're telling me that if someone's fucking up and people in a friendly manner, they point out many, many times, hey, you're fucking up. Those people should self-examine and self-critique. Sounds like good advice people should take, right? By the way, I'm not, I'm not sitting on a fucking chair to judge anybody, man. You know, have had my own trash fires, you know, in life. I'm not judging people are trying to kick them when they're down. I know. We all fuck up. My God. It's not. Some people fuck up a lot worse than others, I will say. But it's not that we fall. It's how we get back up, right? What we do afterward. But yeah, self-critique. I wonder. I think I've seen people do that before. I don't know when, though.
Someone else did it to them because it certainly couldn't be their own fault. And those are the people who foist themselves up as some sort of paragon while openly trying to damage and destroy lives of innocents. And those people will probably have to deal with the consequences of their actions at some point. But I don't know. I'm not God. I just think I am. Let's see. Smoking says, I'm an addict. Once an addict, always an addict.
What? What? We should practice self-reflection. Otherwise, you know, if you hoist yourself above people, well, you might pay for it later. But, you know, what do I know? I'm not God. I just think I am. What? What the fuck, man? What in the world?
Addict, love you, brother. Believe in you. Fuck government. I'm sorry to hear that for you, man. Look, I've seen people deal with addiction. It's really fucking nasty. Really fucking nasty. And I commend you on your journey. IDK anymore? Sorry, I don't know what you said. Pendar, welcome to Paralegal. William Trainer, sorry, I don't know what you said. Doc Nick says, good luck with things, Nick. Looking good. Thank you. Jeff Bruno says, the worst part is the hypocrisy. It's a good Norm Macdonald joke. Very much. Well, actually, I thought the worst part was the rape. Matthew Self says, not that I hate what you were saying, but are you reading from the screen? No. No, I could show you here. You want to see what I look at, guys? Here's what I look at. This is a screen that I'm looking at 90% of the time. This is what I see. I usually have locals up, but right now it's not on this window. So if you want to see what I'm looking at, I'm not reading from the screen. I'm watching all the shit going on. I'm trying to read chats at various points. But that's that.
That's way more organized than me. What am I looking at? I'm looking at what you see on my screen, and I have my chat on my telephone. Because the two mice that run my internet, yeah, it would crash it otherwise. So,
Stinky Stink says, please keep streaming. Turkey Tom needs footage.
oh no, not Turkey Tom.
Yeah, again, I don't think I've met Turkey Tom. I know he's met Dick Masterson or something. And cheers, I guess. Christine Hansopoulos says, I care about you and Kayla and wish you the best. Hey, thank you, Christine. Very much appreciate that. BTM Reviews, a huge super chat. Really appreciate it. Says, your friends are some of the worst people I used to think were smarter than me. Guess I was wrong because I never determined your guilt until I hear all sides of the court. Love you and Lady Rackets since Nashville. Hey, thank you. Thank you. Isn't that amazing? Charitard says, is April still giving that Hoover Deluxe treatment? That month is long gone. I'm not sure what you're talking about there.
No.
Schwamp Donkey, message deleted. Johnny Rocket says, potentially criminal tested positive for jelly donuts and cum. What? That was rude. That was not very uncouth of you. Buckmaster says, if Harambe was here, he would be disappointed. Well, he's not. He's dead. Dark Luge G. Whatever the truth of your case, you're correct that we should remember to be wary of government motives regardless of the case. Often we don't. Chininator says, personally, I like your trial streams more than these late night streams. Well, that was part of the announcement, but that'll have to wait a little bit because I'm a bit incensed tonight. Pendar says, innocent until proven guilty, Pandrew. Charlie Shee says, been there with the law, not fun. I sympathize with your current plight in life. Best wishes, Nick. Thank you. Smokin says, I believe in you. Angel Australia says, respect, Nick. Wishing all the best for you and your family. Fook the retards. Let them tard alone. May you tard in solitude. Caesar Day says, love the studio. Yeah, Depp is prominent. Freedom. Matt says, my options aside, I hope you the best, Nick. Hey, thank you. MLS Got a Loss says, wishing all the best for you and your family. Thank you, MLS. Solid number 5 says, Nick, for the love of God, use your Fifth Amendment right. Like you said, everything about the case would be said through counsel. Yeah. I have very, very vehemently used my Fifth Amendment right. Quite often. Over and over. Again, I hope to tell you the story someday when we get all this shit cleared up. How's that? Mr. Bowser 2012 says, praying for you and the family, Nick. God bless. Chugi Show Live says, weird that none of your fellow lawyers I follow on YouTube are saying the things you are accusing them of.
I do. Again, I think a lot of us had two conversations. I was guilty of this too. Yo, man, you look like you're self-destructing online. Worried about your man. You look like you're dying on live stream. Hey, this opportunity right now, everything can get pulled together. Because again, and a lot of people weren't, if they were commenting on the charges and everything else, yeah, they may get mixed in too. Hey, you look like you've been using, maybe, and maybe that is wrong. Maybe when they blur together, maybe that is, But like I said, a lot of people when they were commenting had they were trying to look out for somebody. Again, that, God, man. People have to ultimately help themselves, though. If they have an issue, they have to help themselves too. So, I mean, that is an object lesson in that too, right?
A Spooky Ghost says, hello, citizen. It's me, your good friend, the government. I don't appreciate these hurtful things you say about me. Cyverson Suctus says, all of this over comics. Always. Hey, Ethan Van Skyver. Holy shit. Hold on. I got to get back to it. I see Ethan there. Where the fuck did he go? Sorry, the chat thing jumped down. Ethan Van Skyver says, Nick, the Denny's joke. Is it that the cop ordered a pork-based product and cops are called pigs and that's cannibalism? Is that the joke? Thanks, pal. I don't know which Denny's joke. Ethan, I think I made a couple different ones. All of them are like Ulysses by James Joyce. You can hear the jokes over and over and you'll never understand them. But you can analyze them forever.
Does that make it a good joke?
Geeky Candy says, looking forward to when we see you interrupted by one of those littles again midstream. Those moments were hectic at times, but that was when we witnessed your humanity, and despite entertaining thousands online, you cared for them. Never stopped. Not for a second. Ugly Dan says, block, reset, don't answer. This is not Nick. Laser Pants says, put the glass down, put the pie in your mouth. Sweet tea. I'm sure someone will say it contains probably.
Dude, I've known a lot of people that have stopped actually drinking online. You know, again, you know, I've been part of many a flashcast, and Yellow Flash is like, look, you know, I mean, we cut up, you know, people would, and I was like, hey, that's not something I want to do anymore. Like, I want to be better. That's good, man. I want, you know, you can drink to your heart's content, man, but when it's interfering with everything, holy shit. So I really hope that's something that stays there. Because, I mean, like I say, there was definitely a problem going on. Definitely, you could see it. Alcohol was part of it. You know, you can't stream for fucking 6 or 7 or 8 hours and drink the entire time, and after a while not pick up a really nasty habit.
Fentanyl. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm just drinking fentanyl. Oh no, I'm George Floyd.
Oh.
Derek, I need a knee. Guess I'll live through the fentanyl then. James Stewart says, unbreaded Nick arc is yet to come. Phil the Stampede says, how funny was it that you and DSP did the same thing? Man, I wish I would have jerked off on stream. That would have been way funnier than what I was doing. Stream Hero 77 says, let's see the body cam footage before we believe you. You may get to. I don't know.
Yeah. The body cam footage. I mean, the discussions that ended up online. By the way, that's... I mentioned this in the last live stream. We're talking about Rekieta associated items. You know, that there was a breakdown of the whole $3,000, why that was, how many hours it was supposed to be, you know, for redaction, and may well end up seeing that. So,
YHVH Lord says, forget government. What about obeying God and his righteousness judgment in order to avoid eternal hellfire? Government is nothing. Jesus is everything. There you have it, folks. Don't worry about government. Make sure you're not going to have eternal hellfire. Government's nothing. Jesus is everything. Ignore the fact that Jesus said you don't have to worry about eternal hellfire because I kind of came around. I mean, you guys killed me, but I forgive you or whatever. Like, ignore that. Just go with this new weird Americanized, not Americanized, but modern Americanized Christianity where like Jesus doesn't matter. This one that everyone wants you to believe now. It's really fucking strange, guys. I don't know what the hell people are talking about. Matt Skinner says, do you sell your art? That's not my art. None of this is, I'm not talented at all. I sell my art to you like this. This is
I'll sell you Rekieta's art. You want to buy some of it? Yeah, you know.
my art, so it's very inexpensive. Although I did get some painting stuff because I'm going to try doing some painting sometime soon. And then maybe I'll sell it. I don't know. Ricky Ray Rosenberg Esquire. Message was deleted. Sorry. Dark Luce G says, either way this goes, write a book and grift. Maybe. It's a good story, man. It's a really good story. And other people really want me to tell it. Lost Zephyr, message deleted. Last of Yahoos says, oi there.
See all the super chats deleted. I mean, there were quite a few of them. Now, he said if it had anything to do with kids or anything. I didn't personally see the messages that were... I didn't focus on fucking messages that were deleted, but a lot of the messages there were making jokes, you know. I did see a lot of fucking people that got banned that were making fucking just making jokes about shit that came up. You know, they weren't dropping information that was sensitive. They weren't doxing. I do believe, like, if you've got a dox or something, I very much believe you should ban those fucking people. There are instances where you can ban people. I've also never stated that I'm running a fucking free speech chat. You know, I just, like I said, is that a change? Or are we going to see that quite a bit? I am curious. You know, I'm confused on what's going to come next, because you can't curve this conversation. If you go live, like he's saying he's going to go live tonight, people aren't going to. They're going to try to get you to answer shit. And Nick has been answering it. He answered it all through this. He's answered it through locals. You know, every live stream. It hasn't, well, I'll take that back. It hasn't been every single live stream. Like there were a couple of locals ones, but if people can elicit a response, they're definitely going to try.
Chief, I've been missing my work night content. Now entertain me. Welcome back. Thank you. Fugabugub. Fugabugub. I don't know. Tough situation, but wishing you and yours the best. Stick to it, man. Stick it to the man and keep your chin up. Thank you. I will try. Grifty says, hey, brother, the timing of that leak is sus as fuck. Either way, check DM. Sent you something that may be helpful when I saw it. Thank you, Grifty. VentureCast says, to hell with Canadians that wear glasses and doughy Minnesotans with morning podcasts. J Bomba's gaping thigh hole says, God bless my Pope. God bless every Pope. Yes. Carbonite says, could we get a better look of the Joker painting? Not today, but soon. Absolutely. Ugly Dan says, you're lying. You defended yourself and your mistresses in DMs. My mistresses? Oh, man. Guys, every day I find out how much cooler I am.
That Nick, come on, man. That doesn't sound cool, you know? I mean, maybe a 20-year-old me would be like, yeah, man, you know, mistresses or whatever. I don't like that word, but you know, aha. But like an older me is like, you know, it doesn't sound good at all, man. Come on, dude. It doesn't. Of all things, mistresses.
It's amazing. Turbo Bastard. Deleted message. Rob Price is glad to see you back. Fuck all the haters and tards who have no clue that the justice system is innocent until proven guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Koof says, welcome back. Thank you for not killing yourself. Thank you, Koof. It was touch and go there for a minute, but I made it out. I had to get around myself for a few. Dodongo Manoof says, you're a lol cow. I'm not just a lol cow. I'm the best lol cow of 2023. You pay your proper respects, you fucking baby. What are you, some kind of Hindu weirdo? Respect my lol cowity. Guys, when you're accused by the government of a felony, and they threaten to put you in prison for a really long time, you realize just how little some of these things actually fucking mean at all. You're a lolcow. Okay, cool, great. I'm gonna just keep doing my show over here. I'll just do that then. Bro Fister, message deleted.
I'm gonna say though, if you know, again, everyone has detractors. Everybody. You can't have a fucking message. But when you have people unanimously get together and they're calling you the lolcow of something, yeah, compared to what's happening in real life, no. But usually that's a reflection of real life. You get the award because, and people are saying, oh, I don't know, what's a good way of putting that? Pull up. That's what they were saying. Pull up. I know.
Andrea Murray says, I found you 2020 to 2022, 11 years clean for me recently.
Good.
Hope you're doing well. I'm doing exceedingly well. Sleepless, well, under the circumstances. Because believe me, there are other options for what you want to do under these circumstances. And those options are not doing well. They involve like buildings and falling off of them. Sleepless in Minnesota says, Nick stumbled across a sweet video of you and Lady Raggeds from 4 years ago, hoping you can return your family to those happier times. Hey, I'm always looking to have my family in happy times. Carrie says, Nick, there's some people here who actually give a fuck about you. Oh, I know. You and your family and our rights. Wishing you all the best, my guy. Much love. Yes. And to you people who do care about all those things, yeah, keep doing so. That's what we need. We need people who remember that stuff. Red Fox Mad says, Nick, you should join the Knights of Columbus. Why? There's a joke in there I'm missing. Joe Moses, welcome to Paralegal. Thank you. Comicsgate Live. Message deleted. Card Shark message deleted. Bad Luck Boy says Johnny Crutches owes Mersha thank you for his raise. Did he actually get it? I don't know. LL Cool Lease message deleted. Laser.
The message deleteds, by the way, I've never had that happen. Like I said, I've seen it happen, but does that actually charge still? Do people actually still, you know, if you ban the message, does the charge stay? Because that's kind of, I could see how that would lead to maybe bad outcomes. You know, people are like, well, you didn't follow through on your side of the contract, therefore.
Beam Hawkins says, hail, brother.
Okay.
As you once reminded me, the Emperor protects. Prayers for your family and you. Glad to see you again. Hey, thank you, brother. He does. Triton 54 says, best wishes to you and your family. We all assume things must be pretty bad when Jack Murphy was quoted as saying, damn, I feel embarrassed for Nick.
That actually is a hilarious fucking I mean, for real. God, if Jack Murphy came out and made a quote like that, oh my God. Ouch.
Oh man, I'd put that as my ringtone. Good. That'd be good. Cheers, bro. Fuck the police. He has that high-pitched voice. Popular with the college boys. Bronson Ashton says, it's great to have you back, Nick. I hope your family is whole soon. Thank you. Chili Cheese J. Thanks for the chat. Elv says, keep the faith and strength, Nick. I've been watching you since Rittenhouse. Ignore all the losers. Well, mostly. Koof says, free Riley, release my clipper. Yeah, Riley's got some fun stuff going on too. It's always good. Hopefully he'll have a nice run-in with the law that turns out for him.
So that shit sucks too. Like, can we be real about that for a minute? Like, it is insane where comic books have gotten to. Like, that is madness. When people are fucking going to jail, and that's fucking depressing to me. If people want to argue about fucking comics and shit, man, I'm down with that. But when it gets to the point where there's just fucking circus around it, man, God, I wish there was like a reset button on that for everything. That way people could just be, you know, remember, like all of the independent comic thing was supposed to be about taking down taking down companies that disrespected their fucking consumer, not taking down the indie pros. For me, I don't want to fight with any indie pro, and it's gotten so fucking insane. Oh Lord, I avoid that like the plague now, like the absolute plague. I want to do my own stuff. We've been finally fulfilling something that's late. You know, they're printing and everything. Focusing on that. God, I don't know. Anyway.
Jose Garza says, fight with might till the end. J, message deleted. And B says, you're facing 100 years less than Turtle Boy. So there's that. Damn, he's facing 120 years? Or 125 or whatever?
Yeah.
Watchtower says, can't stick around for the stream, but wanted to drop in and show support. Praying for you and yours. Fight the fight. Thanks, man. Tug says, just woke up. Just woke up. What's going on?
That was a joke, by the way. I thought... I thought it would be funny. Remember when he put out his first locals post? He was like, "Just woke up. What's going on?" I thought, man, this is perfect time to throw that out there. I gotta say, there's no I don't feel like anything I'm saying. Rekieta is very. I've said my shit publicly. I'm not saying it behind a person's back. I'm not being nasty about that. It's all out there. I don't feel like there's no hidden anything. Yeah, I thought that was funny myself, but I hope anything I say, like, again, you don't have to listen to anything I say. None of y'all do, you know. But I would hope that if you're in a bad way. He made jokes about, like, you know, some feeling fucking like you're gonna throw yourself off a building. Sometimes I wonder how real those are. I mean, it can't be a good place to be at. And the internet is not going to make it better. You know. Like, the only way to make it better, listen to your fucking lawyers, go about the shit that you gotta correct, and get all of this shit sorted you have to sort. So again, all the people that depend on you, they can depend on you. I don't think that's an unreasonable statement. You know, again, nobody has to listen to me in that, but we don't feel any animosity through, like, hey, what's up anyway? You know, I mean, again, we disagree on some stuff, you know, but I'm horrified by some of the shit that that has been alleged. Again, they're allegations. I hope to God. I hope to God there's a conspiracy. Man, I don't see how that works. But the person that I met in 2019, when we talked about things, one of the things that matters to me above anything, I have 2 wonderful kids, and it is heart-wrenching to see some of the stuff that comes up with this, you know. It is, as a parent. I'm sure there are a lot of parents out there, and it is absolutely heart-wrenching to see what's there. And I think if you learn to take care of yourself, that's not just through, you know, people focus that on just get clean. You got to have so much more there. You have to have the capacity to deal with this stuff. Because if you're reacting, and it, like I said, it's grinding you down, or you're reacting the wrong way, and it's used against you. You know, if you get sent to jail or something, like they do end up sending you to jail for something, that's not going to help anything. If they're taken away forever because they don't think that you're fucking that you're doing, you're jumping through, whether you think it's fair or not. If you're not jumping through their hoops. And yes, they expect you to jump through their fucking hoops. They do. CPS very much does. DHS does. They're horrible to deal with. I'm in no way advocate. Like, it's such a terrible place to be, because those agencies, they can have a use. Sometimes they're necessary, but they're also awful in ways, and they ruin kids. Like, the worst thing when I talk about that, like, I see kids that are put into foster care system and more, and it has ruined fucking kids. You never want a kid to go through that. Like, they're not going to, oh God, especially kids that have lived a privileged life. I mean, that would be horrible at the worst case scenario. I mean, thankfully, things like that, they were avoided. But I mean, they have the capacity to do whatever they fucking want. It is frightening too. You know, when you talk about government, he's talking about, yeah, they have that. There have been a lot of lawyers, too, I think, that have tried to give really good advice. Again, I don't think that's saying, you know, bend over and take it. It's like, hey, you know, for the offense that you have, if you did this or you did that, that's going to get you to the most optimal outcome for yourself and your kids. I hate even, like, I would rather, when I talk about this typically, if there were a leak involved in that, I don't even want to have to bring up anybody but Nick. In fact, a lot of this stuff, if you didn't have the kid component, it would be a horrible story. But everyone laughing at it and stuff, it would be so much different. But it's tragic when you have that component brought up. It is. This whole fucking story depresses me sometimes. You know, like I said, I consider Nick at least an online friend. You know, well, I've known Nick for years, or at least and whatever he got into, I didn't know about that. I'm not close enough. I'm not like Camelot. You know, I'm not a like close person to very few people online. Well, you know, I have a real life. I have kids. I have a job. You know, I don't do this all the time. I also have a day job that I maintain. But I'd still known Nick for years. I'd streamed with him quite a bit. I'd talked to him about all kinds of stuff, and all this shit is sad, man. At the end of the day, and people, I know people. If you don't take a flamethrower to somebody, this is what people want. It's just, like I said, it's a shitty situation. Shit. Anyway, I don't mean to bring that down. I'd rather laugh at stuff. Like, through most cases, I would rather just laugh at this stupid and laugh at whatever's going on. Some of this stuff is fucking depressing.
Oh, nothing, Todd. Just chatting with people here on the YouTube. Clay Early says, being allergic to temperature is the gayest thing you've ever done. Welcome back, Schnoz. Dude, it sucks. It sucks bad.
I hope tonight, if he comes on, by the way, I hope he does do a trial stream. Not talking about his own stuff. Do a trial stream. Have a fun stream. Talk about whatever. Talk about hot rod. I don't give a fuck what you talk about. But, you know, Jesus.
It fucking really sucks. Cars in Depth says, are you cool with mods censoring super chats? It really depends on what's in there. I don't know. Right now, I'm trusting my mods to protect private information. And I'm not really I'm not able to follow along and watch what's being deleted, and I'm not going to fucking fret over it right now. If something was innocent that you sent and it got deleted, I'm sorry. I guess I wish I could, wish I had the time and bandwidth to monitor all of that, but I don't. Not tonight. I come buckets. Potentially criminal has diabetes. Rip legs. Hope not. I don't want him. Man, I hope he doesn't have to deal with that shit. Revy Rogue says, burn the Sonichu medallion. Oh, it will find its proper place. Luna Monet says, love to
send it to that other. There have been a few people begging for it. Maybe you should send it to them.
see you back on, Nick. Keep on trucking. Normie, message deleted. BP, bro, glad you're back. Newsflash, you have snakes in your front and backyard. YouTube lawyers are slime balls, but you are one of the good ones. Well, thank you. Thanks. Art the Clown says, please make me a mod. I'll never use it. I just don't want to get blocked by EVS. GZF, regardless of the outcome, seeing what other people go through has made me self-reflect on my own shortcomings and things I need to clean. Nicholas DeOrio, message deleted. Hey, DeOrio, if you want me to if you want to ask something, just send me a DM, man. I usually answer.
So Nicholas DeOrio got his shit deleted too. Oh no. I wonder, has that already made a video today, by the way?
Them. Stinkmeister says, with everything going on, do you know when we can expect the 5K locals gift? Is it still a figure? Thanks. I don't know what a figure. It's not a figure. It was never a figure, but it is something I am working on still, even in the midst of all this. Joe says, pod awful is hack and failure at content. Oh, don't kick Jesse while he's down. That's not nice.
Oh, no, that's mean.
Lynn says, you helped me through extremely hard time when my mother had a severe stroke. I was up at night. I felt stifled mentally. 57 years, concrete beliefs. Listening challenged and changed my mind for the better. Thank you. Aw, thank you.
See, people share these positives too. That's why they invest and they want. They are invested, whether people like it or not. They share the worst things that happen. And sometimes you help them through it. And when, again, they become invested. But they may point out that you're fucking up. But it's because they want you to stop fucking up. Like people like this are like, yo, you helped me when I was in a bad place. I think that carries a lot of responsibility with it too.
Thank you, Linz. That's a really nice message. IDK anymore, message deleted. Billy the Kid Lawrence says, people going to feel real stupid for believing a bunch of BS when your case is over. People will believe what they believe. This is the thing. And I'm trying to get this across. Look, there are a few people, very few people, who know almost all of the story. I don't even know all of the story. I'm learning shit about my own situation because, hey, I wasn't there for some of it. So I'm learning shit about my own situation. I'm learning shit about my life. Who has the complete story? That's what all of this shit is for, finding the story. Right now, people have one side because one side gets to tell a story. They get to craft a narrative. And the other side, anything they say about that narrative can be used to put them in prison forever. So one side gets to say whatever they want, and they can lie. They can fabricate details. They can screw up. And guess how often they get punished? Almost never. They almost never get punished because it doesn't behoove government to punish itself. It just doesn't. People always ask during trials, well, they lied on the stand. Or perjury. Well, the prosecutor liked the lie. So why would they press perjury charges? Why would they even ask the question? They don't. They get caught sometimes and they kind of have to. But the government gets to craft a narrative. The other parties, everybody else involved, they don't. Because they're under a fucking gun. There's a gun pointed in my mouth by government right now. Because every law, every single one ends with a bullet at some point. And so no matter what, if I say something to try and craft my own narrative, even if I try and counter a blatant falsehood, I risk putting myself in front of that bullet.
So anything you say can and will be used against you? Is that what you're telling me? Because, again, the talk to my lawyer seems to be the way that you would want to answer anything about your case.
Everybody watching, all they can do is judge based on the information they have access to. And believe me, I would love to give you access to all kinds of information, but I can't. I can't do it because it will be misinterpreted. It will be intentionally used only negatively. It will be decontextualized and abused because that's what the system does. And I'm probably going to release a short video on why that's actually just how the system is supposed to work. We always kind of frame it as evil, and it is in a way very evil especially when you're against it. But it makes logical sense. And we try and counter the necessity of that setup when it comes to government by increasing the standard to beyond a reasonable doubt, right? To having a constitution with rights that are supposed to be there. Those are things we try to do to mitigate the disparity in power, but still treat the two parties as adverse parties. The government is adverse to me in this case. Now, in a civil case, the two parties craft their own narrative about what happened, and someone finds the facts somewhere between them, right? But those cases are resolved on a different standard of evidence, typically preponderance of the evidence. 51% more likely to be correct wins. We try and counter that with government by holding them to this much higher standard of beyond a reasonable doubt. But it's still the same setup. It's two adverse parties telling a story about the other one. Well, really, government telling a story about you. And that story has to be bad enough for you to have to mitigate it. That's the system. And it feels really fucking evil because they do get to lie or misrepresent things or overblow things or cause something and then blame you for it. They get to do all those things and you don't get to say anything back. Because if you do, you can have someone kick down your door and put a gun in your mouth.
I'm trying to decide whether I want to watch 26 more minutes of this. There's a part in here. I couldn't remember exactly where it was. And it was the one part where I was like, why would you do this? Why would you say that? And it was the part that brought up that Alicia Sweep. Like, that's the one person. Content is content, I realize. It's just like, I guess so. I've gone this far, right? I've gone this far. Let's just do it. Come on, I can hammer through this, right? I can do anything. Yeah, I can do anything.
And believe me, I live in a small town, but they're happy to bust down a door and draw guns. Because at the end of the day, they're cowards too.
See, it's statements like that. Like, here's the thing. I live in a small town too. And you know what I understand about my small town? I don't make statements about... If I made statements about my law enforcement and judges and stuff, there's not a lot of them. I would be making a point-blank, direct statement. And I potentially know what kind of whirlwind that could bring. And that's just me out here when I'm not facing anything right now. Hopefully never. Hopefully I'm not facing anything like this at all. But if I were, my God. Again, if you feel like that, if you feel like they're, they can do anything that they want.
Honestly Reckless says, welcome back, Nick. Hey, thanks. You ever notice how the guys who thought the government was putting stuff in the vax and not to trust them believe everything written in a police report? Kind of saw it. You're the man, Nick. By the way, Mindset blocked me within 24 hours. What a bitch. Chili Cheese J says, permanently online tards with no families have nothing better to do than grift off of you. Dig the new studio setup, and how much for that NES power pad? It's not for sale, my friend. Obi-Wan Kenobi says, hope all the best for you and your family. Thank you. Kyler says, happy Pride Month, fudge packer. Thank you. Schrodinger's Denny's order says, I need to catch up on your Warhammer talking streams. Real quick, though, what brought you into the services of Slanesh, and why are they the best god? Look, I hate Slanesh because Noise Marines look fucking stupid. But anybody who plays a boombox loud enough to make someone's skin fall off while they're orgasming is pretty fucking cool. Quazix12345 says, great to have you back. F the government. Hey, thank you. Very large super chat. Really appreciate that. Voyager8294 says, you're not the only artist the government went after. Love you, Nick. Hey, thank you. Ryan Tyler Palmer says, good to see you back. Great insight. I guess they're saying that spoiler for your sex limo is also a wormhole for the snow rocket. Hail, Nick. Spoiler for my sex limo. Do I have a sex limo now? Damn it. The Moldy Crow.
What?
Message deleted. Sean says, forget Teflon Don. How about Nonstick Nick? Cedar Rose says, wishing you and your family well. Take care. Thank you. And always keep that elbow on point. Matt Skinner says, hang in there, brother. God bless you and yours. Good Logic sent us. Oh, thank you. Phineas Kingslayer. Message deleted. Lefty Lull says, praying for you, my friend. Carly Shee says, it's Moons Over My Hammy, Nick. It's on the menu at Denny's. Moons Over My Hammy is Drex's brother's favorite.
Good Logic got a lot of shit in this, too. I have to say. You know, Good Logic tried to be a very... I saw Good Logic try very hard to make sure that someone he considers a friend did the right fucking thing. And I'm not just talking like on streams. I'm talking about like if I needed somebody to fucking not just tell me I'm maybe fucking up, but you know, to be a friend too in that moment. He's tried quite a bit. So, you know, I've seen him catch a lot of shit for I haven't heard like recent opinions, by the way, but I saw what he was trying to do. And he was trying to be a friend and be like, yo, like, come on, man, come on. And, you know, people don't get to see that part too. You know, when he got really emotional on a stream, like, you know, people were like, that was fake. No, that was very real. That was very fucking real.
Order, so I never acknowledged its existence. Really, really disgusting of him to eat that. Where the fuck? God damn it. Okay, so this thing jumped down again. We're getting there. Baked Turkey says, hey, heard what happened. Haven't been around since the Kick Vic era. I really hope all the allegations against you are false, considering how fucked up our government is. Wish you the best. Well, we'll be dealing with those allegations in court. Me 04120 says, put the Sonichu medallion on, embrace it. Random commenter, the return of the Law King. One truth about the government is that the only solution to corruption is a French haircut. Six Hipper Tyrannus, best wishes. Yes, a French haircut given to me by a Mexican. And it is very gay. Seize the Day says, mod since they're stupids, simple. Oh shit, biggest problem in the universe. What's up, man? How many push-ups do you think Null can do, and is it 0? No, why is it 0? That's the real question. Why after all this time can he still not do one? That's the real issue there. Hey.
Null is Josh Moon, right? Is that correct? Like, there are people that I don't try to get in fucking... Again, I'm trying not to get in fights with people anyway. You know, it's been something I'm trying not to waste effort. Maximize it. Have a purpose for it. But man, like, That feels like a fight that just wouldn't work out for you. Yeah, so it's judgment. Okay. Yeah. That's not somebody I want to pick a fight with, you know, because I don't feel like I want to win, you know, and I don't even understand what happened. Like, they were friends or friendly, and I saw a lot of the commentary from Josh Moon being like, "Yo, man, you know, things are falling apart. Like, pull up, pull up." And that stuff, it absolutely made sense. It did. I don't know if there was anything else in that, but oh, I don't know, man. I don't like burning bridges either. You know, if I don't want to like somebody or something, it's like, hey, man, you know, I'm gonna go do my thing. You do your thing, and whatever. But yeah, that's not somebody I want to. That seems like a very losing fight.
How many push-ups average can you two do, though? It sucks when your fat partner has a negative number, doesn't it, asshole? Senor Spielbergo says, can you or your lawyer push for live feed of your trial to be allowed if it comes to that? That's not up to either of us. Silence Duguid says, allegedly some guy named Pot Awful is interviewing your daughter about her drug use right now. I'm sure he is. Nicola Maxwell says, prayers to you and yours, Rackets. Much love. Thank you.
How did that super chat make it through?
McShuckleberg says, will the Aryans let you...
How did that super chat make it through, by the way? How did they just stop watching at the end?
Join with that nose. No, but thank God there's a new rule coming out that says perceived Semitic heritage is sufficient for me to file anti-racism charges against you and all your hate speeches. So even though I'm not Jewish, I get to be Jewish when people make fun of my nose. And you're all sued. You're all sued forever. Malensi says, make sure your lawyer doesn't have a 6-inch HDMI cord. Well, he doesn't have a 6-inch HDMI cord. Oh, God damn it. I forgot to, I left the StreamYard thing open. Well, that's fine. They get to just sit here. He doesn't have a 6-inch HDMI cord. He's black, so he has at least a 9-inch one. Hallucinosis says, happy Juneteenth. Melee Games, deleted. BJ, deleted. Never delete a BJ. Reaverton says, waving. Hi, Chad. Hi, Chad's lawyer. Crime Sleuthin says, those sending super chats to insult you don't realize the joke's on them. No, I think they do. They're okay with it. Welcome back, Nick. Best wishes. Keep taking care of you. See, that's the thing why you can't be too mad about people sending in jokes, because some people are actually sending in jokes. Monk in Training says, regardless of the truth in life, you can choose to change for the better or the worse. I hope your experiences propel you to be better. I hope my experiences always propel me to be better. Mario Carter 13 says, I game with Mountain Dew. I hear your kids like Coke. No, they're not into fizzy drinks really at all. Kyler says, at least you're not Ralph. Look on the bright side. Well, I mean, I'm not anybody, just me. So
damn, Ralph caught a stray too there. How did that Coke wouldn't make it through?
You know, that's okay. Here, where are we? Triton 54. Which creators have been bros since this shit show started? Megan, Logic, Camelot. All of those have been very, very much bros. I hate getting into naming who all have been bros because you always forget someone and it's hard to remember. But
Megan caught a lot of shit too. I mean, she did. Like Megan, when she got upset, I know. Like, she wasn't trying to make excuses for anything. I live stream with Megan. I've talked to her about stuff. She's very upset about everything, you know? She was. She was trying to, you know, she's watching a friend and a terrible events around that. Camelot's Camelot. Camelot. Oh my God. I like Camelot personally. I like him. I think he's funny. You know, he is who he is. He's exactly who he shows himself as. He's a nut. But yeah, I mean, these guys have, you know, behind things, they have tried to actually be voices of reason. Whether or not any of that's listened to, they've tried. For sure. They have been friends.
the majority of people have been bros who've reached out. Swedish Asylum Seeker says, lol, Cal Mount Rushmore, DSP Wings, Jack Murphy, and me. Look, only if I get Lincoln's spot. Omega Supreme with Cheese says, libertarian here. Keep your head up, Nick. Nick R versus the people of the state is a terrible position to be in. They can and will lie for conviction. They can, will, and do. Always. It's part of the system for them to lie. Tracy 3 says, been following since Rittenhouse. You look and sound great. Praying for you and your beautiful family. Thank you very much. Reaverton, thoughts on Ray DeVito stabbing KB in the back by performing at Hackmania? Who are these?
I can't watch any more of this. I'm sorry. I'm going to read super chats. I just can't do anymore. But I wanted to comment. And just not even really comment, just to show people the opinion on everything. I mean, again, I very much do agree that government is a problem. I think a lot of people agree with that. I also think that document, it was shit that thing leaked. I do, because ultimately anybody can think what they want about a person, but they're, the kids, man, I hate that shit. That's not excusing any fucking thing. Sorry, I can't listen to super chats. It's nothing, again, no negative there or anything. It's basically the same. The one thing that really struck me, I mean, there are a lot of comments in there that I feel like can be used against you. They're items that I just don't think you should say. I love running into the free speech wall, too. You can say them. Yes, you fucking can say them. You can do a lot of silly, stupid fucking things in your life, and you can burn everything to the ground. And sometimes it's amazing to see, sometimes on accident, like some of the points I'm saying there are agreed to. I don't know. Like I said, a document came up. I thought, do I want to talk about that at all or not? It ends up fucking everywhere today. And I didn't talk about it for a while. I was busy today too. But on top of that, I was like, But I think it goes with something that I was saying early on. I said if we saw a CPS or a DHS document pop up, that it's very bad for Nick. Because it could potentially point to somebody really having a hate boner for him. And if they do, and the stuff that he's saying, it'll fuel it. It'll make it worse. And they have a lot of weapons that they can utilize against you. Anyway, let's hit Super Chat. AJ Stone. Thank you, AJ, by the way. 10 gifted memberships. Saw that come in very beginning. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. Fallen Hero. Also, thank you. Gifted membership there. Always appreciate you. Popper Lips. Thanks for 24 months. The toast and the hay there. So appreciate it. BG Corporation, thanks for that. I know you're going to talk about it, but I wanted to ask, you think the 9-year-old's test may be a mix-up with mom's? 5,000 equals daily or weekly use. I mean, the levels, again, I can't speak to the particular company's false positives, but there is, with hair follicle testing, there, especially when you use the cheapest fucking testing known to man. Government systems use the cheapest testing. And I know that because, like with mental health, we have a bottom line that you have to go. And you can go above that, and we go above that. Like if you have to do urinalysis testing, And the reason we go above that is because of the level of false positives we would get with your analysis. Now, you have a better success rate with hair follicle testing, but you still have false positives. Being said, I mean, this, again, that's not saying it is a false positive there. And I don't, the government had, I mean, they leaned on it as a reason to say, we're not going to allow this. And I don't believe, like, there was nothing said in there that allowed a retest. You know, I didn't read anything in there that said, I could have missed something, I suppose. But, you know, you would think you would ask for a retest for monitoring, but they very easily can shoot you down, too. They can be like, no, we're not going to do that. But yeah, I mean, it could be a lot of things. You know, the whole... Here's where you're going to run into an issue. If you go forward with all of this, and the core, and they prove that you had cocaine in your home, you know, and again, the idea that this wasn't there, you know, so, you know, April's credit cards out, all these straws, all of this other stuff. If you can prove all of that's not true, good, all of it will wash away. If, however, they manage to hit you, the cocaine, they're gonna stick you with that too. And the CPS charge, the worst charge in there looks like an inconsequential charge, but it's who you're dealing with when you deal with DHS or CPS. Again, I cannot say this enough. That is the worst charge because they have so much power. That one person and their opinion, that's going to carry a lot of weight. Their notes where they were like, hey, you know, we went through the house, it was all, you know, disorganized and trashed and everything else, you know, and I had to step over things, and then they talk about, you know, you're not willing to do this or to do that. That carries a lot of weight. So if you disprove it, more power to you. But it's alarming stuff. It's very alarming. That's why people reacted to it publicly. They were like, holy crap. 1 second. Hold on for a second. Sorry, my kids were playing. They were, I was like, hey, well, what are y'all doing? Play tag. That's funny there. But yeah, just levels there. I think you would be more apt to, I mean, you'd be more apt to say, potentially, again, could there be a false positive? Could there be issues there? We don't know. We were never supposed to see that document. Ever. We were never supposed to see it. It lists a very concerning thing, but beyond that, it making it out into public, the statement with that, I would think Rekieta would be very alarmed by that. Like I said, you know, they could have messed up, and yeah, they could have accidentally put something into the public view, but Dad, oh man, I'm not really I've seen that with redactions and other documents, but when you're protecting kids, and it was because they're, you know, it very much had a damning item in it. Like if you look at that item that came up, yes, that was a damning item. It looks bad. It does damage, you know. And down the road, I hope to God that, again, he can prove everything is just all bullshit. I'm not an optimistic person either. It's just a sad situation. But yeah, I mean, it could be many things. Rhode Island lady, thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the membership. Welcome to Tugs Thugs. S6, thanks for the month there. Appreciate you, Tug. Love you on Flashcast. Thanks. Appreciate that. Get Lofty to come back. He's very entertaining. Cheers. Lofty's just ghosted lately. I don't know where he went. You know, I like Lofty quite a bit. So I hope he comes back. Adam, thanks for the 4 months. Director of JHS can have an internal look, the IT department, to see whose county ID was digitally logged in and pinpoint who to these photos. Yeah. Yeah, they can go in and find out, you know, exactly how that specific document. Again, with every other document, things popping up early or anything else, you can say, oh, that's strange. But this one, I commented on that weeks ago. We probably won't know what the statements are from the kids. You know, I was saying stuff like that because you don't find these things out. That doesn't bode well in your chances either for an easy ride with DHS, CPS. They're not. I'll use the words like one or the other a lot of times. Same thing, you know. I mean, we're dealing with CPS involvement, but I got a kid coming. Just one second.
Audio got paint in the carpet, but I cleaned it out.
Cool. Thank you. All right. They were painting. I bought them a paint kit. She was like, we got a little paint in the carpet, but I cleaned it up. Thank you. Carol, thanks for the 18 months. I'm a beautiful friend. The best tonic in a mad world. Much love. Thank you. Appreciate that. For real. Thank you. Mimi. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the membership. Welcome to Tugs Thugs. Appreciate it. Thanks for the 20. Drug testing won't give us information about how much was consumed over the last 3 months. Normal usage of a gram a week by assumption does about 500. Being a 9-year-old, we have to take into account for the 5,000. Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's very true. You know, we also don't have the exhibits or anything else attached to it. We weren't ever supposed to have that stuff. Colonel Kurtz. Hey, what's up, Colonel Kurtz? Thanks for the 20 there. What's up, Tug? I'll be talking about this, too. My stream after yours. Always appreciate your thoughts. I appreciate that. I'll check it out. Thank you. Mel. What's up, Mel? Thanks for the 10 there. No statement. Plenty of statement back, and thank you. Really now. Thanks for the 5. They don't want another test because they already got the test they want. Another test might swing the wrong direction. I mean, that's true. You know, you want to let your lawyers handle everything. I think this is personally the way I look at it. If you're in court, you want to let your lawyers do the talking, and it is not an easy thing. I don't know how you live stream or all of it. And yeah, I mean, they've got plenty of stuff. You also don't want to give them anything else either. That's the way I'd look at that too. And yes, you can retest. A common drug testing protocol is to divide the sample test into 2 portions, testing one immediately and saving one another retest in case of contested positive result. Yes, with them having custody of them, I think that would be a request right off the bat, and they can shoot you down on your request too. You know, will they? Again, we may never have the answers to any of that either. Because again, we weren't supposed to have the conversation in the first place. We'll get to know it all. Like, we won't know the answers to a lot of this stuff. We'll see documentation. We'll actually see. Rekieta's saying we won't know like his story. Well, we will in court documentation. Like we actually, if they go forward, depending on what happens. Again, you know, if he if he decides to fight, we very well will see a side of that. If not, we'll hear about it sooner or later. So, yeah. But you're right, of course. Carol, thank you for the gifted membership, by the way. Thank you. Appreciate that. Down the rabbit hole news, thanks for the 5. Hey, Doug. So he's refusing to release his results of the test. We only know what the child tested. I'm social work, 10 years plus in CPS. Yeah, what happened is, this is going to be my guess. Okay, this is the way. I wonder. We had a new lawyer come in, and I wonder if they agreed to hair follicle testing, and then they were like, wait a minute, maybe we don't want to do that. Maybe we actually don't want to do that because, what are they building? Are they building a case on prior drug? I mean, I don't know. Like, they gave permission and then they pulled permission. So, Deanna, thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the membership. Welcome to Doug's Thugs. Appreciate you. Deanna also, thank you for the 6 months there. It's our job to protect the children. Yeah, it's true. John, thanks for the 2. Rekieta and his mods deleted chats they didn't like. There were a lot that went down, I saw quite a few, Jermaine, thanks for the 5. I believe the state isn't taking him down because he's a law pope. It's because he mixed cocaine and parenting. Well, that's what they're saying, for sure. People also, when we talk about innocent until proven guilty, that, some people treat that like a cope, like, oh my God. Well, it is or it isn't, in everything. But yeah, there are definitely, and we know, like we've heard Camelot talk. Camelot's like prostitutes and drugs. So, yeah. Henri, thanks for the 10 there. Having family members be removed through the court system, that breaks your heart. Oh, yeah, for sure. You may not ever see them again. Nothing is harder. At times you want to unalive yourself. I do not wish that on anyone. I don't. That's something, if anyone thinks that I'm like, yo, you want that? I don't. Again, I've known Rekieta a long time from this thing. Whatever this stuff is. And I want his shit gotten together. And his kids, especially, to have they need the best opportunity for success. Like, if it is a very fucking depressing topic, though. Robert. Robot Glock. Robert. I was like, what? Robert. Robot Glock thinks it's in. He's going to talk himself into custodial sentencing thing. Someone with mixed charges usually doesn't end up doing time. But poking the state like this, play stupid games. Hey, indeed, that's the thing I would fear, for sure. For sure. Now, thanks for the additional 5. If my kids were taken by the state, I would be playing Daddy Big Balls online. I'd be towing the line to get them back. I'd be afraid. I would definitely be afraid of the state. You should have a healthy distrust. You should also know your enemy. Knowing your enemy is knowing yourself, right? If they're standing, if there are things, if you look at your life, you have to be able to be objective about this too. If you look at yourself and you are fucking up in some way, you fix it. Part of fucking up is sometimes shutting your mouth on certain things. You could be 100% right too. Maybe 100% right in that. Don't talk yourself into a charge. Don't lock yourself into any narratives. Like any lawyer that would discuss something like this would be like, hey, you know, before anything, you want to make sure, see, as far as I'm aware or you're aware, we saw the filing that asked, hey, show us everything you got. Now, I'm going to say they probably have not turned over everything yet, right? So you have no idea what exactly they have or they're utilizing, what they're setting on. Maybe seeing their hand that they're going to play first, then, you know, talking about, you know, because they could have, if your narrative's out there and totally 100% true and they're fucking lying, what they have, you may be able to poke holes in that. The idea that they have, and if you sit out here and you talk about that, you're giving away your strategy. You know, we've discussed that before with court cases. There have been people that have gone out and they talk and talk and talk and talk, and they give away everything like they're going to try to do, versus, you know, a smarter strategy is you hold everything close to your vest and you don't give anybody anything else. And it's easy to say too, look, in this kind of stuff, I've never been through something like this. I hope to never go through something like this. I cannot imagine being online every fucking day. It can't be good. That would be another thing. I would have to remove myself. You know, I'd have to do something to like cut down my exposure to allowing me to speak about it, because you'd want to go out, you want to put out your side. Like, it's little pieces of it keep coming up in conversation. I'm not going to talk about this, but, and a little bit more and a little bit more come up, you know, or a name of somebody that you're facing off against, that comes up. Or again, joking about the police. Like I said, every time I say something like that, I get hit. I get 1,000 fucking messages about free speech. And it's not a matter of free speech. You do have the right to say things, but fuck, it's sometimes stupid to go out and to do it. K-Rap, thanks for 10. I get that Nick can't take responsibility because of the case, but he should have just shut up about it and done regular streams. That stream was bonkers. I think the stream happened like that because of that document coming up. Like, to be honest, if a document like that, you know, it would have, I don't know if I would have streamed. But on the other side of that, if you didn't stream, the next time you stream, it would have become a louder and louder and louder topic. I don't think Nick's at a place where he can ignore shit. I don't know if you ever get to that place that you can ignore stuff like that. You know, weak spots are people bringing up. You know, everybody has a weak spot too. No matter what, something that will elicit responses. So, oh, thanks for the 20 there. The non-apology apology. Denial of having a problem all screams addict to me. I've seen this before. The DA will make an example out of him within the bounds of the law. Well, this attitude, I don't see a DA wanting to deal. Yes, that's another thing that I said. You know, that you motivate a DA to prosecute. You can do that. DAs don't like to prosecute because they take a chance at losing, and they run on the platform of success. So they're more likely to will and deal. They are. If you force them to go to trial or you motivate them, you know, they'll come after you, and they'll come after you hard. And so will, again, DHS and everything else. Oh, thanks for the additional 10 there. I keep making this joke, kind of serious, sadly. He sounds like Daryl Brooks screaming about subject matter jurisdiction. Does, actually. And then, well, I could see that. I could. Fine. Thanks for the 10. I wish nothing but everyone in law too, or adjacent, to be their best self, to be the healthiest that you can be. All areas of your lives: physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, or social, spiritual, emotional, everything. Yes, indeed. I appreciate that. That is a good comment for sure. Bad Duck, thanks for the vibe. $20 says, soon as they find him guilty, he'll cry and start apologizing. Suck it up, Buttercup. Do the crime, do the time, and shut up. By the time you get to a guilty, if you do get to a guilty sentence, that's when you have a lot of time to reflect. Especially if you're looking at time. Like if they came after you and they found you guilty. If they come at you with this, they do have some sentencing guidelines where they could come at him hard. If you're found guilty, again, you end up with a lot of time and a lot of remorse. So definitely don't get to that point. Whew. Germ thinks so too. EBS was right. It was the kids. It's arrest her. No. And Germ thanks for the 2 there. An interesting life story, like the killer's Nick. Yeah, there's like I said, I don't want an interesting life story if that's what it takes. I really don't. I want to be a very boring person. Sorry if you want one, but I don't. Thanks for the 10 there. Umbrella, what are the betting odds? Are you giving on Nick? Off his cross and building a bridge to get over himself. I think Nick hasn't had any removal time. I mean, this is happen. He's still right in the midst of it. That's again why I say, like a rehab or something, you're forced away. You have to give up your phone. You get a month. I think he has heard people more than initially. But I don't know. Maybe I'm being hopeful in that. But again, I want to believe, man. I want to believe Nick. Come on, man. I want to believe. I'm not saying I want to believe Nick. I'm saying Nick, man. I want to believe, dude. I want you to. I don't wish a downfall on anybody. But I especially don't wish that on people that I've known. Again, I know there are a lot of people that want you to. I don't wish shit on his kids. I think it's, like I said, it's a tragic, horrible situation there. I think it'll make you appreciate your fucking life. Like, if you get to the point where, I can tell you, if Nick mentally is to the point where he looks back at the boring times in his life before his life became an interesting story and he appreciates that, that's the right path. That is the right path. If he's looking back and he's like, man, I miss, those times when I just covered cases and I had the background noise of family and, and doing this or doing that. I was living a very boring life. That would be a good place. If he's there, then he's moving in the right direction. If not, again, he says he hasn't listened to anybody, by the way. He's not listening to anyone. Like, he's not listening to streams or anything. I wouldn't recommend he do that either, But if he does hear anything, I hope he would hear something like that. There's things back there. This interesting life is shit. It is. And I'm not just talking about the charges. I'm talking about, look, if even 30% of his life isn't mine. Ultimately, he can live any life he wants. But I'm going to say that if 30% of what a certain, like an errand, even 30% of it's real, hell, even 10% of what was said is real, that course isn't a good life course. You know, what made you successful? It wasn't boring, it was stability. You know, the stability in that. Because kids can keep you honest. You know, they can keep you honest in the fact that, you know, you're looking out for them, you're looking out for their needs, and they make you look out for your own needs. That's repetitive. You know, you're going through, like, you know, food, clothing, shelter, whatever. But it's a good place to be. Barnabas Collins, by the way. There's after the 20. By the way, Barnabas, I thought that was funny. Barnabas Collins itself gave it. Thank you, Barnabas. Appreciate that. There's that 20 from the grift. ESB, thanks for the 10. This is so disgusting. Rekieta has made himself into a joke because he takes the responsibility for his actions. Also, to have the picture of JD in the background is so performative to me. Yeah, he picked up the JD thing. I think it was because of the, you know, it's because of the trial. I mean, he had like success with it. You know, I keep certain items around that remind me of those times. Like I had a mic break during the DEP trial. You know, during it, I kept it. I wrote the date on it that it broke, and I set it aside because I'm like, aha, that's fascinating. From the Vic Mignogna times, you know, when I went to the conventions, I had a mask on then, and I put it up in a display box for myself, you know, just to remember that. It was fun. It was a good time. So that could well be that too, you know. That'd be a good question. Hey, why those certain pictures? I know you could ask that on the stream for that. I hear I don't know anyone an apology, and again he's right there, but people don't owe you viewership, and a lot of, like, if you looked at a lot of the comments, like the comments that really break my heart, and they do, you know, are the folks that are like, look, you did all this stuff for me. I want you to have what's best for you, you know. I had a hard time there, you know. We want to be there for you too. I hope he sees that and takes it as what it is. You know, during the DEP trial, for example, a lot of people were messing with the most horrific things that have ever happened to them. And talking about the positives, the positive impact. So, you know, take that, remember it. Because again, people want you to succeed. They do. Michael, thanks for the 5. Give me wherever I am. And he pretended not to be a swinger. This guy, man. I was surprised by some of the stuff that I've heard and found out. Like not random stuff, just stuff I know to be true now. I had no idea. I didn't. Again, I live stream with people, but I hadn't for a while. I didn't really after the Baldo, all of that. Again, you know, you cover whatever you want. You talk about whatever you want. But that just was, I didn't want to talk about male testicles and a device. It just it's not something I really want to sit around with a bunch of guys and discuss. You know, it's not my thing. If that's somebody else's thing, hey, you be you. But yeah, I was surprised by a few things. ESB40, thanks for 5. Also, didn't he willingly enter into a midlife crisis of his own making? Now, this is the epitome of loser, an ungrateful piece of shit. I look at other people's midlife crisis, like, if I've had a midlife crisis, mine would be that I bought a Conan statue once. You know, I love it. It's looking at me right now. If that's a midlife crisis, man, I'm good. You know, maybe I bought some books or something. I don't know. You know. God, I don't want to bring more more people in my life. I definitely, ugh. It makes me feel better about my life decisions for sure. Like when I'm like, man, you know, I bought a statue. I splurged on that, you know, way back when. I feel a lot better. If that's the worst thing I've done, I feel a lot better about myself today. David, thanks for the 5 there. Such a sad situation. I feel he may not be looking at the situation for what it is, but looking at this horrible situation as a rights situation. If there's a level of denial in that, I mean, this is serious stuff. I hope to God, I would think the seriousness would be conveyed by everything that's happened with DHS. I would think when you sit in an empty house and you don't have that around, I would think the seriousness would hit you, you know. And I'm not saying it hasn't. I would say if anything would drill the seriousness in there, I think that is. And I think that seriousness hits. But yeah, a lot of times, I think the reaction has been, it's been anger, and you know, my rights, like you said there, and there's a lot to be thought about there. You know, again, what's the best way to get back my not interesting life? Joe, thank you, welcome. Thank you for the membership. Welcome to Tugs Thugs. Appreciate you. Hey, Fallen Hero, what's up? Thanks for the gifted membership. Appreciate you. Germ, thanks for the 2. Life's supposed to be fun. Words to die to. Yeah. I think it depends on how you define fun. You know, like me, like these days, and just be honest with you, you know, when I was 20, my definition of fun is a lot different than now. Again, I have kids. I have responsibility. You know, I know what's there. I also, you know, when I was younger too, like if you were going to go, tour Colombia, Colombia's best, yeah, you didn't have to worry about things like fentanyl. Nowadays, those decisions very much, they could have a finality to it. Deborah, thanks for the 10. I've had 4 judges recused. Corruption's real. Oh, yeah, for sure. The semantics of those criminal acts have impacted me and my family. It's an incriminating statement. It's commonly referred to as a Freudian slip. Those criminal acts have impacted me and my family. It's an interesting one, the statement there for sure. Katie, thanks for the 5 there. Then why did he hate Amber Heard so much? She didn't do anything to him. He's such a hypocrite. Yeah, that's a statement on, you know, direct impact. People look at a situation and they react to a situation. It's not because somebody did something specific to you. That's true. I see what you're saying there for sure. Sure. Thanks for the 5. To all my defenders and everyone trying to defend my honor, you all belong on the short bus. Nick Rekieta. Yeah. You know. This is a thing. If you have an opinion on something too, man, fuck all the other noise out there. Like I said, you'll never make people happy with your opinion on something like this. If you're vehemently, oh my God, this person needs to pay, there will be people that will come after you. If you're on the other side and you're like, hey, I hope whatever outcome, you know, oh, nothing, it's not real, the government, then people will come after you. Yeah, you can give your opinion on something. But no, I mean, you don't, that whole idea of I've defended you, but I do agree, like, people don't need to go out and defend. They can talk about what they think is going on in this situation. but you don't really know. You don't really know in the worst case scenario or the best case scenario. We don't. Like, it's at the beginning, but we do know that there was a guy that was he was definitely having problems in front of us. Like, you can't ask me to pretend that wasn't real. I saw that. I've definitely noticed it more looking backward and catching up with a lot of stuff again. You know, after Baldo, I wasn't tuned in as much. I didn't see as much to it. A lot of other people did. But when you look back, and it looked really bad. I think this interruption, maybe he'd disagree, but I think this interruption might have saved his life. Because I think he's definitely self-destructing. Definitely there. Hopefully not. It looked like it, like in front of people. And, you know, he said, well, that's just because he had a lot of drink. But it looked like that was all the time. He looked like hell. And I really feel like that might have saved his life. Annie, thanks for the 5. Nick is going totally Sarah Boone. Daryl Brooks, like them, to talk himself into the worst outcome. Personality disorder, it's disordered AF. Yeah, you got to be careful about that. I got a second. Hey kiddo, I'll be through in a few minutes. Hey, take that one upstairs. Yeah, you should go play with that. That's cool. One of those. Yeah, go have fun with that. Yeah. Nope. Yeah, she found. She found one of those noisemaker things. I had to mute for a second. It was so loud. I was like, no, don't do that down here. Deanna, thanks for the $20 super sticker, by the way. Thank you. I appreciate that. Jerk, thanks. They can't hear anything either. I have headphones on. They can't see what I'm doing. So it's all good. Jerb, thanks for the 2. You can't plead the 5th after the fact. That's true, too. You know, you can't be like, hey, I'm going to say all this shit. By the way, I'm going to put, it's the Pandora's box, right? Well, Annie, thanks for the 20 there. Nick got me into law that covers your Rittenhouse. I witnessed his downfall on YouTube and locals. I pray for him and his family because he's such a kind heart and he's a genuinely good person, aside from the facade of trolling. People don't get this too. I have been in a place where I needed a friend to help me out. And Nick not only helped me out, but he didn't make a big deal out of it. This, you know, and people say a lot, well, why do people talk about it? Because it's happening publicly. It's happening and there's a lot of mis or disinformation. Again, I speculate with stuff too. But there is, like the documents that come out, yeah. Like if they come up, there's been a lot of discussion about them, a lot of discussion over fake or not. Should they be out there at all and more? And I think that stuff needs to be discussed too. One sec.
We're making cheese.
Ask Sissy to make it for you. I'll be done in a few minutes, okay? I'm almost done.
Do I look cleaner?
You do. I like that dress. That's very cool. It's very cute. And the pants. I like those pants. All right. My littlest one's showing me her new outfit.
And I get clean. I got bath.
Yeah, yeah. You had that earlier though, right? Yeah, it looked good.
That's Toddy.
Okay.
And we took a bath. I took a bath.
Oh. Yep.
Everywhere.
Hey, thanks for the 20 there. He's the reason I know you are, Tug. I owe Nick a lot regarding legal knowledge and the content I consume now. I hate seeing people cheer on his downfall And even more so the people who encourage him to do self-destructive things. Yeah, you've got to... There will be people that will be like, oh, have another drink, do this and do that. And some of it's like a joke. I mean, but there are people that definitely will cheer you on all the way to the bottom. There are people that will call you, that you call a friend, that will do that. Not just, I'm not talking about the people like the chat that discusses something, you know. I'm talking about like awful people that cheer you all the way to the bottom. Yeah, and it's sad. Craig, thanks for the 10 there. This is Nick. I know about rights, etc. Maybe the search warrant was sus, but evidence is evidence. I think it's a piece of shit for doing this to his kids. Like I said, the whole situation is fucking depressing. It is at the end of the day. I mean, you hear my kids come in, you know. I hear his kids come in. Again, that was stuff we talked about early on when there wasn't, you know, we weren't live or anything. These were discussions that we had. Motivation, doing for. What do? You do for your kids. You build up for them. You know, you make this thing so they have a better life. And, oh, man. Like I said, I want that for him. I want that for them. Fuck. Great. Also, thanks for 10. Called BS. Nick is live. I'm so disappointed. I asked him for a toast when my mom died, and it made me cry. But now he's clearly lying, and it breaks my heart. I think people can be both things. You know, I think there's addiction problems. I think that that's there. And I think that if you can go further. I'm not saying he's using him right now. What I'm saying is he has had, I don't know what kind of impact that has. I know stress will lead you right back to it too. I know that not wanting to admit that you might have fucked up can cause you more problems too. I've seen people do that, do anything but admit that they've done something. Point finger, again, not just talking about a Nick situation, but people, period. I've seen people, plenty of people, that have thrown everything away that they supposedly cared about because they weren't willing to admit that they were a problem in something. That introspection, you know, it's difficult, but it's not. You just look at you can look at the situation around you and think, oh, I gotta put that stuff back together. Again, I'm not trying to be a judgmental dick about it either. What I'm trying to say is, man, come on. You know where you're at now. You know where you should be. Get your shit. You know, get it right. Come on. Come on. See you, lady. Thanks for the 5. Appreciate your fair, professional coverage. I'm trying. I've never dealt with a fucking situation like this. I don't know how to deal with watching somebody. I am so sick of watching people that would they say they're friends. And yeah, they put a post up on Twitter. They tell you how, oh, it's so sad to see this. And they do fuck all. And you know people aren't listening, really listening. They do nothing. They'll shed tears at your gravestone when your friend's gone. But they didn't do anything to keep them out of the ground because your fucking Twitter post meant nothing. If that's a friend, I don't want them. I don't need them. You know, that's just that's noise. And if people stop listening, or they're doing everything very publicly, then you meet it publicly. It doesn't have to be like nasty back and forth, but at least you try. At least you tried something. But I've never ran into a situation where I felt like somebody. I've been in a situation like I know, and it's very public, and they make it public, by the way. Well, the noise of the arrest was noise. The case will be noise. It will make this thing pop up some, but it would die down. When it dies down, it flares back up, because it be like last night, it got discussed heavily too. It brought a lot of people's attention also to the fact there was a leaked document. The people who didn't know about it, they're like, holy shit, what came up? Oh my God, what is this, Aqua, thanks for the 5 there. I stopped watching him when his self-righteous lifestyle hypocrisy became really bad. I do wish him to get better again. Does not look like it. It may, again, there could be... I think if he took a fucking week even and just looked at everything, I think it would do a world of good. So, thanks for the 10. It's Grandpa. I just want to say tongue from the bottom of my heart. Get him, kiddo. Hey, daddy, get him. Yeah. My daughter that comes in, she's 4. By the way. I've got a 10-year-old and a 4-year-old daughter. They've made, I've had the opposite of what we've discussed with some of this. Like my life, when I found out that my 10-year-old, that she was going to be born, I got my shit together. I made sure of it. It's been good for me, and it can be good. Again, a boring life's a good life. I've lived a not boring life, and it's not fun. Being out in the weeds ain't fun. Living that lifestyle, it may be fun for a moment, but it ain't fun after a while. I'd rather be happy. That again, when I say a boring life, that's just compared to what he said was, an interesting life. In reality, I don't think it's boring at all. I enjoy it. I enjoy it quite a bit. I learn a lot about myself. I get to watch my kids grow. I get to watch the little people. And like I said, it's been good for me. And Deborah, thanks for the 2 there. Nick's toast. Chat sounded like prayers to me. Yeah, well... Anyway, I'm going to end here. Okay, I appreciate all of you. I'm going to end. I'm going to go give on for the kids for a little bit. Maybe we'll make an art project or something, paint something. Whatever. But I appreciate you all. Tomorrow, hopefully, we'll be talking about the fallout with the tonsil twin thing. Hopefully nothing else comes up. I don't know, man. Every day I say something like that. It's like some crazy flare-up, It's an STD. It's a socially transmitted disease. Don't you ever feel like that? Like a lot of the stuff that you see, like these crazy things, it is like the flare-up of something, But it is a socially transmitted disease, and some people, they catch it, and they just can't stop themselves. And hopefully it's calm 9. Anyway, appreciate you folks. Yep, saw another chat. Let me hit this one too. Pandora, thanks for the 2 there. Civil law. Covering child emergency protective order. All right, is it covering that stuff in? All right, I'll check that out. Thank you. I appreciate you. People check out Uncivil Law, by the way, if it's covering it right now. But anyway, I'm going to end here. Appreciate you.